your home for Kings talk and so much more.
Live and local.
Allen Stiles on Sacktown Sports.
Yes. Is this thing on? Is this thing on? Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. We are back in the building. Look, I know we had our show yesterday, and it was great to be back, but I didn't get to see Kyle's lovely face. I didn't get to do crosstalk in the building, and I got hung up on by Carmichael Dave, and we are officially back today. And it feels good to be back. Thank you again to everyone, all the well wishes, people hitting me up on Instagram, listeners that follow the show, viewers. Shout out to the Sack Chat. And we got a good one for you. MLB playoffs are starting literally right now. Why they always do this, I don't know. But they're starting right now. We have, if you were running around yesterday, I know school's back in session. I'm not dealing with school yet because my kids are under 3 years old. But if you're running around yesterday and you didn't get to catch one of the best media days that I feel like we put on as a station, if you missed that, we are feeding you, I guess, in rations, okay? So today, 12 o'clock, we will have my conversation with Scott Perry where I do ask him point blank about the high flyer, not Henry Turner, who was on the show yesterday. Shout out Henry Turner. But the 22-year-old Skywalker, Jonathan Kaminga, I do ask him about that. And, you know, He obviously can't get into specifics, but he did say more than I think a lot of people thought that he would say. And if anything else, he gave us a look into how they evaluate. And it told me that they really like Jonathan Kaminga as a player and a person. Now, when I posted the clip on social media, some people thought the opposite. They thought, I think that this means they're done with Kaminga, and maybe they didn't realize how much of a headache he was going to be. I just disagree with that because this thing went on for so long. That's why I disagree with it. But we have that for you. That's at 12 o'clock. Then we have my personal favorite interview, and that's nothing against any of the other players that we interviewed, but I've interviewed Malik Monk a couple times, and personally, as I am growing into my career out here in Sacramento, it's kind of paralleled a couple of different players on the team, and I told y'all from day one, Malik Monk has been my favorite player on the Kings. I would get a jersey. If I were to get a jersey, it would be of Malik Monk. So to be able to talk to him and cover him before he signed that new contract to stay in Sacramento, to then be able to interview him after everything that went down. We talked off air about some stuff off the record even that I think, and I don't know that it's technically off the record, but it is his story to tell just about things that are going on. I know he said in the media scrum that he bought a big old house out here, so shout out to him. We talked golf. It was an incredible conversation. So we are replaying that at 1 o'clock. And we have more for you in the chamber, but we're not just going to play replays all day long because we're going to do it live. So we are releasing these interviews throughout the rest of the week. So that's what's up today, Scott Perry and Malik Monk. I had 9 players, okay? 9 people, 8 players, and we had Scott Perry. So we have plenty of content to feed you throughout the week. As you can tell in my voice, number one, I'm just excited to be back. No yerba. Okay, no yerba mate today. All it is just normal coffee. But I'm just excited. Yes, that's right. I'm excited to be back. And on the flip side of it, yeah, when you're in the building, I don't know how long it's going to last, but when you're in the building, when you see everybody wearing their brand new, the Beam-inspired jerseys, you're going to drink the Kool-Aid a little bit. You're going to drink the purple Kool-Aid a little bit. And that's exactly where I'm at. 35 and a half. You drive up to Reno right now. You take a flight over to Vegas. My in-laws are in town. They've been helping out with the new baby. They're going to Vegas after this. And you smash that 34 and a half over. That's where I'm at right now. Now we'll see how I'm feeling after the first 20 games, but that's what I would tell you right now. Because the theme that we talked about yesterday with the Kings was transparency. There was also another theme that came in and out throughout the show, and that was the idea of them honestly having a purpose and having a plan. Basically, after the Mike Brown firing and the De'Aaron Fox trade, they were just out there doing cardio. That's essentially what a lot of them were saying yesterday. We had no plan. We were just out here playing, and that's what it is. So you could argue that maybe this was the plan as far as Mr. Vivek is concerned, and they knew that season, obviously they wanted to make the playoffs, but that season in particular, it was going to be tough to pull it off. This is the one where you see, okay, did they actually pull something off? Were they actually cooking with hot grease? And based on what Vegas thinks and based on what a lot of Kings fans think, they don't think so. I saw somebody say, and I believe this is a writer, I don't know, for a Kings blog, whatever it is, but lifelong Kings fan, covers the team, and they said, this is the least excited I've been in a very long time for the Kings. This is such a throwaway year. And I'm paraphrasing, but he definitely said throwaway. And I thought about that as I'm getting ready for media day and I'm posting on social media and I'm getting everybody excited. I thought about that, and I do feel like a lot of fans do feel the same way. But again, in the optimistic realm that I'm in right now, I got my new kid, she's pooping on me. Like, it's just a great time. Right? This is what dreams are made of. You have the whole season to say, hey, I told you so. Yesterday, when we talked with Scott Perry, Henry Turner, they were going back and forth talking about glass half empty, glass half full. And you can be, and sometimes I'm a glass half empty guy. I'm not saying that, but we have time. Can we let them get their what's beat before? And I get it. You're protecting yourself. It's a defense mechanism. But can we at least see what they do first? That's what I came out of yesterday. Do I think the Kings are going to go to the Western Conference Finals? No. Do I think the Kings are going to get to the playoffs? Most likely not. But we have the whole season, at least the first 10, 20 games, and that's going to teach us a lot because of how tough those 20 games are going to be. Let's at least see where it goes, and then we can always revert back to, okay, yeah, we knew this team wasn't going to do anything. But we don't got to go there right now. We don't got to go there. You're a fan of the team. You should be happy about the team at some points. And look, if you're saying, Allen, that's cool, you're in a good mood, I love it, but I'm not here for it personally. I'm not here for it personally. Then you don't got to pay to go to the game. You don't got to pay the higher price tickets. You don't have to do any of that. But in your mind, you can at least say, look, I'm not thinking the Kings are going to do anything, but we'll at least see, right? Then I can always revert back to, yeah, I really didn't think they were going to do anything. So, this proactive, I guess, pessimism is something that, like I said, is a defense mechanism. But at the same time, we can just wait and see. I don't think many of us have that high of expectations for the Kings. But I'll tell you what, being in that building yesterday with the Zach LaVine, with Malik Monk, who seems motivated. These guys do seem motivated, right? DeMar DeRozan, it was very clear, and I went back and forth on this, and I also spoke with DeMar, and we'll play that for you. I didn't know if I wanted to do the trade talk thing because he really wasn't in trade talks. The idea was we thought that he would be, and I did ask him, hey, have you had good conversations? What type of conversations have you had with Scott Perry? And he said they went well. But DeMar made a decision. I think everyone felt like last season was a wash. And maybe that's true. Maybe it's not. But they felt like that season got hijacked a little bit. And they wanted to go in here. The word I used when I was talking to DeMar is clean slate. They wanted to go into this season with a clean slate, and I think now is when DeMar will say, okay, we just went into this. It's almost like a mulligan as Dave is out here golfing just because he had to do a little bit of extra work yesterday. So now he leaves work early today, and he's out there golfing somewhere. But the idea of a mulligan last season, let's see what we can do this season. We got a point guard now. Zach LaVine is going to be out here. Everybody hates the midseason trades. DeMar's second year, Domantas Sabonis. DeMar was telling me how much they played together during the summer, and they had different runs, and we see the young guys. The young guys are incredibly close. So, yeah, I'm being very open here that I'm drinking the Kool-Aid as I was in the building yesterday, and it was a great time. But we can always revert back to we're not sure what this team is going to do. We don't necessarily have to do it proactively. Now, I don't police fandom. You know that. But I'm just saying we can just wait and see. I haven't said this in a while. I almost forgot the number. 916-339-1140. Call line, text line if you want to be a part of the conversation and hop on in. So we're talking plenty of Kings today. You know, it's my duty. I hope you didn't miss out on any Jonathan Kaminga talks these last 3 weeks because I'm back, baby. I'm back. And I will say it's really not a lot because I do think it is over. Right? I was talking with our guy Brett Siegel yesterday, kind of debated having him on the show, and we essentially landed on the Kings aren't really involved in this moment, so let's just see what happens there. It was a heck of a summer, though, and maybe we'll play some goodbye. Whenever he does sign, we will play some signing off music for the Kaminga talks, and it might be Oh Happy Day from some of the listeners. So we have that for you. We got the best sounds in general from Media Day. Yes, we're going to replay some of the interviews in their entirety, but also just clips from stuff as well. We have MLB baseball, like I said, going on right now. And now that the offseason, it's not officially over, but once Media Day happens, help me out, Kyle, that Karl Anthony Towns trade that we always talk about with Julius Randle, was that after Media Day? That wasn't that late, right?
I believe it was.
Okay, it was.
I don't know if it was Media Day, but I believe it was 1 year ago today.
Okay, so maybe it was right there on the cusp, and maybe something else happens. But either way, everybody is spinning the block on Shams that this was not the craziest offseason ever.
October 2nd last year.
Okay, so hey, you never know. Maybe something could still happen. Obviously, this Jonathan Kaminga stuff, he's going to sign the qualifying offer, and Quentin Grimes as well, or he's just going to sign the contract. A lot of weird stuff still happening, but ultimately not the craziest offseason ever. Definitely not. I did just get confirmation. We have the finale of our Coach Eric Martin's segment. That's at 11 o'clock. And we're going to talk to him about what's going on with the A's and their hopes and dreams heading into next season. So that's coming up at 11. We have our biggest takeaways from Kings Media Day. And we have a bunch of stuff going on the rest of the sports world as well. Tyreek Hill, really, really brutal, gruesome injury. And he was in complete shock. So those two games yesterday, I more so caught the second one, which was a waste of my time. I know Jake Browning, local guy, but just go get Jameis. Right? Can the Bengals just go get Jameis and stop wasting everyone's time?
Or Russell Wilson.
I would take Jameis, personally.
Over Russell Wilson?
I would.
Did you not see Russell Wilson throw for 420 yards on that defense?
He's always good for something like that. But I would go Jameis. Jameis is just, why is he there? Why is he on the Giants still?
Because they didn't know they were going to draft a quarterback?
So, crazy stuff from the NFL yesterday. Jamar Chase, and the curse continues. I had the first pick in my River Cats fantasy league, and I took Jamar Chase, and with no Joe Burrow, I lost yesterday, and it's just been a complete disaster. So plenty to talk about throughout the sports world in general, but we are going to be pretty darn Kings focused here as we are leading up to the start of the season. Kyle, I did have this, though, with all the media days going on these last couple days, and it doesn't have to just be basketball, right? But in general, this microwave society, this player movement, everything that's going on, can you name, and help me out here, text line, call line, and of course the Sack Chat, can you name, I don't know, 5 players in sports right now where it would be quote-unquote weird to see them in another jersey? Because I feel like we're numb to it. Every season, these guys move around so much. In every sport, Aaron Rodgers, doesn't matter if you're a quarterback, anything like that, How many players right now, as I'm watching media days everywhere, and all of a sudden somebody said, when did Spencer Dinwiddie get on the Hornets? It's just, these guys, and I could even take it to college. NIL and the transfer portal, every season these dudes are on different teams. This is my current list. This is all, and I just made this up off the top of my head, and it's only basketball, but we can expand it.
Of players where it would be weird if they switched teams.
It would look weird. The only three, I have 2 and 1 that's just kind of on the cusp. I guess you could add another guy, but I said Steph, and now that I'm thinking the guy that I didn't have, but you could add Steph and Draymond, right?
Okay.
So Steph, Draymond, Giannis, and then kind of hybrid honorable mention, I have Jason Tatum.
No, that's a good one. I think Tatum will probably spend his entire career with the Celtics.
But that's pretty much all I have off the top of my head. I was even trying to think as far as baseball and football as well. Even the quarterbacks. I guess none of the quarterbacks are super long tenured right now, so there's nobody that it would look that weird unless I'm missing somebody.
The quarterback's the big 5, I think. The big 4 plus.
Yeah, I guess Mahomes.
Yeah, Mahomes, Lamar, Josh Allen.
I don't know if I'm there with Josh Allen yet.
No, Josh Allen's going to be a Bill forever.
I don't know how weird it would look to me, though. It
would be pretty weird. So going back to the basketball example, because, right, in a post-Luka world, you feel like anyone can switch at this point. Does Shea not count because he was on another team?
He's not there yet for me.
Yeah, but we've seen him literally in 2 different jerseys.
Yeah, I wouldn't know.
This is an interesting one. What about the Ant-Man? Does Anthony Edwards look weird if he's not?
These guys are so new, though. You got to put in work to really. When I saw Clay in that Mavs jersey, it was jarring. It was jarring. That's probably the last truly weird one off the top of my head.
What about your boy Devin Booker?
Yeah, that's a good shout.
Him and the Lowriders?
That's a good shout.
Yeah.
Not in Arizona anymore. That'd be weird. That would be weird. That's a good shout.
Devin Booker's probably one because he's going into year 11 now.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of going through the list. There's not a lot. I feel like one that would be weird for me is Ja Morant, like Ja not being on the Grizzlies.
Yeah, because here's the thing, and this is why I didn't say Josh Allen. It's something about, and I understand why you're taking Josh Allen, but there's something about how they connect with the city and the organization. And Lamar, to me, is Lamar. It's Harbaugh. I mean, it's like a package deal in general. You could argue Josh Allen, but you got, McDermott and Stephon Diggs. Is a lot has kind of moved around. But obviously, the Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, I don't think yet, to be honest. Again, he's another transfer portal guy. So I don't think Joe Burrow is there quite yet. And
Justin Herbert.
I mean,
I guess the one that would be weird now that I'm thinking about it is Dak Prescott if he was.
That's a good call. That's a very good call.
Yeah.
And I thought he was going. Oh my goodness, I thought he was going to the Raiders. And Kyle and I were texting back and forth about what we should talk about yesterday during the interims when we're waiting for different players to come to be interviewed. And a lot of it, we didn't have a lot of downtime yesterday, but Geno Smith, are you serious, bro?
Dome Geno is not what he thought.
Are we actually being serious? And and he took responsibility. Cool. A lot of times Derek Carr was allergic to doing that. But are we serious, Geno? What are you looking? I mean, it's just the most head-scratching throws. I get it that he gets out there and he's trying to throw the football all around the field. What a nightmare. What an absolute nightmare.
We'll come back to the players in a second because there's one I want to ask you about. But Dome Geno through 2 games with the Raiders, 38 for 64, which is 59%, 297 yards, 2 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, has been sacked 3 times and has a 42.3 passer rating, which would be the worst among all qualifying quarterbacks in the NFL.
And then after that Patriots game, everybody, oh my goodness, Geno Smith. I just knew it was too good to be true.
No, the Patriots just suck.
I just knew it was too. No, they don't. I mean, now you know what it is? It's just week 1. You never know what's going to happen week 1. That's really what it is.
Sure.
Because the Patriots actually they've figured out the Stephon Diggs thing, so they've actually looked better. But it is a nightmare in Vegas right now. And you got to see all the Bears fans. It's just crazy, man. It's just crazy. The Niners, one thing that hasn't changed with the Niners as I've been gone for about 3 weeks, still can't keep anybody healthy. And I believe Brock Purdy now, that toe is starting to maybe he looked bad, right? There were some drops. Kendrick Bourne, my goodness, stop eating popcorn before the game. But even Brock Purdy had some Geno Smith type interceptions, and Ricky Pearsall has kind of messed up his PCL. They don't know if he's going to be ready for Thursday, and the Rams look good. Puka Nacua single-handedly ruined my fantasy week. I mean, 170 yards and a touchdown.
Leading receiver this year.
It's crazy. It's crazy. So a lot in the football world as well. And then the baseball playoffs already looks like the Tigers took the lead here. I'm sorry. You know what, Kyle? Can I be a little disrespectful? Yeah, if you need to play someone at 1 o'clock or at 9, whatever time it is, 10 o'clock, all right, Tigers, Guardians, let's just get this one through.
Yeah.
Let's just get this one over with respectfully.
It's been an annual tradition ever since, because baseball still does like division series during the day, which is insane, but it's always Guardians at home, Rays at home, Tigers at home, always at 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Let's just get this done, move along, which also the Tigers scored 1 run in the first inning, and they've got Scooble, so that's probably all that they're going to need.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Kyle, you said you had a couple other names for the game we were playing who would look weird in a different jersey.
Well, okay, I just want to ask you about one, because I assume you thought about this person. Why are you not counting Jokic in this category?
You know what's funny? Again, going back to, I don't know if ingratiate is the right word, but Jokic he cares about the horses. He cares about, there's always this stuff about him and Luka. I don't know how much he would look weird, but I don't connect Jokic to Denver. I don't know if that brother even likes Denver, right? This is where I play. There's something about the community aspect, and I'm not saying he doesn't do stuff because they all do stuff for the community. I get all that, but would it look weird? There's been so much talk. He's just so disconnected from basketball for how good he plays. I just don't think it would look weird because I don't connect him to the Denver Nuggets organization. He just happens to play for the Nuggets.
In the same way you do for Steph and Giannis.
Exactly. Steph is, they're building courts out there, and there was Oakland, and there's San Francisco. Jokic is just, they drafted me during the Taco Bell commercial, and now I'm in Denver.
Okay, I will say, to counter your point, I don't know if I see Jason Tatum, and the first thing I think of is Boston-born and bred Jason Tatum. That dude lives in Boston and it does stuff in the community, but he ain't living in Boston in the offseason.
Yeah, but even Jason Tatum, and maybe it is just the fact that maybe it's the fact that Jokic is always going back home, right, and is very open about that. Maybe that's part of it. I don't know.
Okay, so the last one on the same line as Jokic is that the same logic for Embiid?
Embiid didn't even cross my mind. I guess it would look kind of weird, but yeah, I just don't really spend too much time thinking about Embiid.
Just don't care.
Yeah, I mean, there was a joke about street clothes there, but I'm not going to do it. We have 4 hours with you. Do not move. We are back in studio, ready to go. Let's discuss my favorite interviews from yesterday and why they were my favorite interviews. Your calls, your texts. We're opening up the phone line. Don't move. More Allen Stiles Show coming up.
When I was a kid, I remember my dad, a lineman, leaving in the middle of the night. Families were depending on him to get their power back on to keep them safe and warm. Watching him taught me that this work isn't just about wires and circuits. It's about people and the trust they place in us when the lights go out. That's why I started Maverick Electric Heating and Air, to carry on that same promise of showing up, doing it right, and protecting families when they need us most. Visit callamaverick.com.
Bonneville International Radio Station contests are open to participants at least 18 years of age and older that are residents of California and who reside in one of the 6 counties that make up the Sacramento metro area, unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest are not eligible to win, unless the station otherwise specifies in its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 30 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. For a copy of the general contest rules, visit khdk.com.
Switching to Progressive is a game-winning call. And that reminds us of other game-winning calls in the history of sports.
It was a doubleheader in August and really hot inside the concession stand. So instead of waiting for people to come to me, I figured I'd walk around yelling, "Hot dogs here!" And that's how I became the first hot dog vendor in sports.
Okay, not really a game-winning call, but it was a good call. You can make one too. Switch to Progressive and you could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
It's championship night at Stockton 99 Speedway. Saturday, October 11th. Pro late models, mini stocks, legends, pure stocks, and mini modifieds in an all-out war for the crown. Kids 10 and under are always free. Grab your crew and hit Stockton99.com for tickets and info. Then be there when the dust settles and legends are made.
Listen to the 49ers Red Zone Report daily, brought to you by Mountain Mike's Pizza, the official pizza of the 49ers. Mountain Mike's Pizza, pizza the way it ought to be.
Allen Stiles here with your Sacktown Sports Injury Report, brought to you by DTLA Law Group. Zach Geloff, out with that dislocated left shoulder, underwent successful surgery in Los Angeles in late September. Should be fully recovered and expected to return in 2026. Left-handed pitcher Sean Newcomb felt left elbow inflammation and unfortunately is out with the rest of the season after feeling tightness in his left elbow following his most recent outing. That was your Sacktown Sports Injury Report, brought to you by DTLA Law Group. Hey, I'm Allen Stiles. Injured at work? Call downtown. DTLA Law Group, California's leading injury law firm. With over 40 lawyers throughout California, they have won over $500 million in settlements. DTLA Law Group will get you compensation for your work injury. You don't pay unless they win. That's right. You pay zero up front. Call downtown. Text injury help to 40222. That's injury help to 40222. Visit them at calldowntown.com. Text charges may apply.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
You've probably heard the word, but do you know what a stimp meter is and how it works? Invented by Edward Stimpson in the 1930s, a stimp meter is a device used to measure the speed of putting surfaces. His version was made of wood and was simply a chute on which a golf ball would roll onto the green. Roderick Easdale writes in Golf Magazine, today's stimp meters are made of aluminum. They're 36 inches long and have a V-shaped chute down which the ball can roll. It has 2 notches on which the ball rests. After a flat area of the green is selected, a golf ball is placed in the notch and the end is slowly lifted until the ball rolls down the chute and across the green. The average of 3 distances becomes one of the measurements. The process is repeated in the opposite direction and the measure of both directions is added and divided by 2. That figure in feet is the stimp meter reading. Most courses average 9 or 10 on stimp meter, which is neither too fast or too slow, just right for most recreational players. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Welcome back. Allen Stiles. Watch the show on youtube.com/SacktownSports1140.
Or listen on the Sacktown Sports app.
Taking you up to 2 p.m. And we're working on some things. We have a new system for the text line, okay? So I'm in for all you out there that have been sending me notes. I am in. I'm just trying to work this thing around, but keep sending them. We will have my responses for you. Don't worry. And I see some of you saying, thanks, Allen, and welcome back. So shout out to you, 530-916. Appreciate you. 916 says Fox in a Spurs jersey was hard. I think that was, again, it's these guys, once you eclipse that, I don't know, 5-year mark these days, and again, I think the type of relationship matters. De'Aaron Fox, they kept De'Aaron Fox and moved Tyrese Halliburton. That type of stuff matters. You had the Beam team season. Sometimes it doesn't have to be the first team that you've been on. I think that's kind of moving into a different conversation. But yeah, I think De'Aaron Fox was definitely one of those names where it just looked a bit weird. It looked a bit weird. Also, we have, Detroit's up 1-0 already. MLB playoffs are off and running. 916-339-1140 if you want to be part of the conversation. Call line, text line. I am back in the building. Once again, I said this yesterday, but wanted to shout out everybody that filled in while I was out, and I really, really appreciate it. A lot has happened, but a lot has also remained stagnant. Yeah, so here's the deal, Kyle. I know a lot of people have been kind of asking, what's going on. So right now, the system that we're on is baby number 2 will basically get up around 1 o'clock, right? So normally we go to bed around 10, 11 anyway. So she'll get up, she'll start doing the baby grunting thing around 1 o'clock, and she'll go back to sleep 3-4 hours. And then at 4-5 o'clock, she's, hey, I'm hungry again. And then at that point, maybe one of us will sneak in 1 more hour of sleep, something like that. So it's not horrible. It's not horrible. The whole thing is right now, like I said, my in-laws are in town. The whole thing right now is that just there's always something to do. I'm not going to lie to you. There were some times when baby Stiles, number 1, she just wanted to hang out with mom. And that's been perfect, right? If the Kings game was on, whatever, go take a bath, whatever it is. Now, hey, who do you want to deal with today? Right? Okay, number 1 wants to go take a bath, but you got to feed number 2 and things like that. So there's just more to do right now. There's less downtime. It's not crazy. There's just less downtime for, me to scroll social media, whatever I was doing. That's how it's been so far.
So has agent number 1 been spending more time with you, and now does she kind of expect that we're going to be doing stuff with Dad?
And to be honest, we've only spent about 2-3 days, just the 4 of us, because my mom was in town, my dad was in town, and now my wife's parents are in town. So we've only spent a couple days together, just the 4 of us. But as of right now, there's not a lot of jealousy. Everyone was worried about that. We'll see when the toys start getting played with, though. Right now, she just thinks that the baby is a doll and she just wants to play and can I feed her, stuff like that. And she loves her. It's great. I'm still trying to see what happens when once they start playing together and it's, hey, that's my toy, right? Stuff like that. But right now it's cool. Right now, because she's basically just a pooping potato, it's cool.
Yeah, there's nothing she can do right now.
Exactly.
Other than just like stare at the baby.
Exactly.
Well, so they're close enough in age too that it could be a problem.
It's gonna be dicey for a second, but hey, that's why they're gonna be pitted against each other immediately and be the next Venus and Serena Williams. That's just is very simple to me.
Venus and Serena of softball.
That's right. That's why I wanted to talk to Maxime Reynaud to say, hey, I got some kids and they're gonna be ready for Stanford in about 16, 18 years, let's have some conversations. Let's have some conversations, all right?
So we're starting them early.
That's right. 916-339-1140. I did get to watch a couple movies during the break, so later in the show, we'll discuss some of those movies, including Superman, which I did really like, and some other movies as well. If you're just now joining us, 11 o'clock, Eric Martin's coming up, third base coach for the Athletics. It's our last conversation with Coach Eric Martins for the season. So I'm not excited that it's over, but I am excited to talk to him and kind of get his final thoughts on the season. 12 o'clock, we are replaying Scott Perry, our conversation. You really don't want to miss this. if you want to see and hear a different side of Scott Perry, I tried to get him to so when you're listening to this and watching this, I tried to beat him to the punch on some of the things that I've heard him say before to make sure that he would have to pivot into other things. And I think we got some good bits from that. So that's coming up at 12. And then, of course, 1 o'clock, we will discuss Malik Monk, and we will replay the Malik Monk interview. It was something that got buried yesterday, and I'm telling you, there was a big news story for the Giants right before media day, the last go round too, but Bob Melvin has been fired, okay? And this has been circulating. Bruce Bochy, whose contract is up with the Texas Rangers, quote, "I would always have a conversation with Buster." And that's what Bruce Bochy is saying. I said this yesterday, but I didn't realize I didn't have access to the text line. So if you did text in, I apologize. And obviously we were running around with all the interviews anyway. All I'm thinking in my head is John Gruden going back to the Raiders and that disaster. All right. I know they didn't win a Super Bowl, but they, there were some good times. All I'm thinking is that. Can somebody give me better examples of a coach that left the team, went back to the team, and found success?
We've got an extensive list to pick from here, but also there's not a lot of great ones, I will say. I'm not with it, man. The best example I could find of any sport was Phil Jackson leaving the Lakers after Shaq left and then coming back a year later and coaching Kobe to those 2 championships.
Okay.
But that was 1 year. This was not 6-year hiatus. And Phil Jackson, while he was old, was not going to be 71.
Yeah, I'm really torn on this. I saw somebody say, I believe it was our guy Jeff Young, who's been on the show before and writes for Around the Foghorn. There's a big part of me that just wants to leave Bruce Bochy's legacy as is. I mean, think about it like this. They won, 3 championships in 5 years?
Yep.
How are you're not one-upping that, right? It's not going to get better.
No, but I think winning 1 like he did in Texas would be good enough at this point.
Do we need to rehash that Texas lineup and that payroll? A lot of things did come together, and maybe that's the argument, but they had a crew out there.
No, and they were not good the rest of the time. That basically they were a 5 seed, a 10 seed, and a 7 seed.
Yeah.
Like they were a pretty average team that just because it's baseball happened to get hot and win 9 games in a row and win the World Series.
So I'm really torn on this. I love Bruce Bochy as a coach and what he did for the Giants. I'm just not sure if running it back and going back to your ex is normally the right try. And we can expand this. Look, I'm back, baby. We can expand this outside of sports. How many of you broke up with an ex, got back together, and it worked out? And when I say worked out, doesn't mean you had to get married per se, but I would say you had another good run, right? It didn't just crash and burn. Because I'm telling you, it does not happen. There's a little honeymoon phase. You got the ex, the what would it be called? Kind of the feeling of, oh, we didn't have this and now we have it back. That lasts for most of the time, about 6 months. I don't even know if it lasts a year. Lasts maybe up to 6 months. Then you start realizing, oh, this is why we broke up. And I know it was different with Bruce Bochy, and a lot of people didn't even want the Giants to move on from Bruce Bochy at that time. They blamed it on Farhan. But how many of y'all out there broke up with someone, got back together, and I'm not saying like Kyle said, you didn't break up for a week, none of this high school stuff. You legitimately had other boyfriends, girlfriends, whatever.
Say minimum of 1 partner in between.
And then came back, and it actually worked out. Doesn't have to be a wedding, a marriage, anything like that, but you had a good, call it a year, a solid year of figuring it out. Because it just doesn't happen a lot. It just doesn't happen a lot. When we return, my favorite interviews from yesterday, and we'll describe why they were my favorites. Allen Stiles Show, Sacktown Sports.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey everyone, it's Kyle Draper from Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. If you're wondering whether or not you can afford a Mercedes-Benz car, I'm here to tell you you can. Mercedes-Benz of Stockton has affordable vehicles which fit nearly any budget. And right now, they're running special deals, including low rates on select new vehicles and leases, including, get this, complimentary 3-year prepaid maintenance on select models. You can't beat that. And they also have you covered with customer cash on their eSprinter vans. And if you're a business owner, you gotta listen to this. You may qualify for thousands of dollars in tax deductions. So go see my good friends at Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. They are family owned and they offer fast and reliable sales and service. Mercedes-Benz of Stockton is just a short drive right off I-5 or anytime online at mbfstockton.com. And while you're there, tell them Drape sent you.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
What makes you so different than the rest of us?
We ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Tell me more.
Our investment counselors focus on service over sales, prioritizing clients' needs.
How do you make money?
We don't sell any commission-based products. We have a simple management fee based on the value of our client's portfolio. So we do better when our clients do better.
What about client portfolios?
We get to know each client, their finances, family, health, lifestyle, and more, and then we tailor a portfolio based on their specific goals and needs.
Your clients really come first then, huh?
Yes, we make them a top priority. Our goal is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Wow, maybe we are different.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave. I got to tell you, I am so excited to get this decking project started with Trex Decking and Railings. From the first time I stepped foot in the showroom last week, I was so impressed. So many color options, heat-resistant composite deck. What does that mean? That means I don't have to do any maintenance on it whatsoever. They even have a deck designer, so you can go online and see what your dream deck will look like on your house. Just visit Trex, that's Trex.com to get it started. Tell them Carmichael Dave sent you.
Just announced, Stockton Honda has been named #1 of California's best car dealers in 2025 by USA Today and Statista. This prestigious award is based on thousands of customer reviews and recommendations, ranking dealerships for service, value, and satisfaction. Out of hundreds evaluated, Stockton Honda is proud to be #1, recognized for all-around excellence and commitment to our customers. Visit Stockton Honda, where reputation meets the road.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Carmichael Dave here for my friends at American Energy Heating and Air. Yes, I always tell you they are a family-owned operation, been in business since '81, A+ Better Business Bureau, but it is hot. We are in those Sacramento hot months. I want to focus on them being your second opinion partner. What does that mean? Maybe you've got somebody you're working with or you've worked with in the past in the HVAC world. Guess what? They want to give you a second opinion. How much does it cost? Nothing. Nothing. You call them up and say, hey, can I get a second opinion on this deal? They come out and they either say, wow, that's a great deal, you should feel better about that, or they say, we can beat that price. And usually they're going to beat it by a lot. Guess what? You just saved money, and it didn't cost you anything to find out. It's a no-lose situation. Go with a trusted company. American Energy, 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990. Or AmericanEnergyAir.com. Jingle Singers, take it away.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Allen Stiles
You can join the show by texting 916-339-1140.
on Sacktown Sports.
From the text line, did Allen just call his daughter a pooping potato? Yes. That's what they are.
When they're that small.
And you know what? We try to fake it. Oh, look, she's smiling at me. No, she's smiling because her tummy hurt a little bit and she just pooted. That's why she's smiling. They don't start smiling at you until, I don't know. Every baby's different, don't get me wrong, but you got to have a couple months under your belt until they are looking at you and smiling.
And aware of what's happening.
Exactly. So right now, she's a pooping potato. A cute pooping potato, but a pooping potato.
But
and
also,
that's okay.
But you're also saying cute because it's your daughter, too. Like, not every person's pooping potato is necessarily cute. They're just kind of...
They're there.
They're there. They exist.
They're there, you know? So, hey, shout out to number 2. She's been great. I got my family rankings. I'm probably going to do my family rankings after she turns 1 month.
It's just not fair for her to be added to the list.
Right. But as far as newborns go, I mean, I think we're getting a decent amount of sleep. It doesn't feel like it because it's very jarring going from our system to this. But she's doing pretty well in the rankings. She wouldn't be last. So family rankings coming up when she turns 1 month.
And so the cats are still...
Yeah, they're going to have to work hard. Everybody's going to have to work hard.
The cat's got to step it up now.
Seriously, because we're closing the door because we have her... You know, we're doing the bassinet thing, and she's on the bed, and they're scratching at the door to try to get in, and you're falling down the list. You know what I mean? Like, don't fall down the list.
They're used to having the door open at night.
Right. The ringer, you know how they're trending upward or downward? They're both trending downward. So 916-339-1140. Somebody else, and I can't say this on the air. We were talking about Bruce Bochy coming back to the Giants, and I said, is there anybody out there who got back with an ex? And it ended up working out, and somebody is saying, well, what if it was a really good time?
I'm sorry, I just saw the text.
In the process, even if it wasn't a long time. And that's okay. I'm good with that. That's from the 916. So what if it was a good time, not a long time?
Yeah, but here's the thing. Sometimes it ends up being a good time, and sometimes it ends up being Tony La Russa.
Yeah, because... To that point, if that good time, I got to be careful, your first day back in the studio, if that good time is a couple playoff runs with no World Series, the Giants have missed the playoffs 8 of the last 9 seasons. So I'll take that good time. I will take that. I will take that good time in a heartbeat, 916. It doesn't have, but that's what I'm saying. If everybody thinks Bruce Bochy's going to come in here and do what he did in those even years, that's probably not happening. It's just probably not happening. If you think, hey, at least he can get us to the playoffs, then okay, let's have that conversation. But the last time we saw Bruce Bochy, obviously the Giants weren't necessarily good, but we remember Bruce Bochy for the championships. I don't know if it's going to be that. But it doesn't have to be because the Giants, they don't make the playoffs right now anyway.
But this is such the strange thing about Bochy specifically is that because of that World Series run his first year in Texas, he vaulted himself back up to this best manager in baseball conversation, right? If you look at the totality of his time in Texas, it was not that remarkable from, I think it was Woodward was the coach before them. It wasn't that remarkably different given the talent that they paid to bring in.
Yeah.
But they have that one World Series run where they were a 5 seed that they can always hold on to and beat the Diamondbacks who didn't deserve to be in the World Series that year, right?
Yeah.
Like they always have that one run they can hold on to as look at what Bruce Bochy did in turning that organization around, and I don't have an argument against it.
So we will see what happens there. Looking at some of the interviews from yesterday, we have sound that we are still going to play in the 11 o'clock hour after we talk to Eric Martins. We have the Scott Perry replay that's coming up at 12. We also have the Malik Monk replay that's coming up at 1 o'clock. But, my initial thoughts here, Kyle, I have Malik written down as the realist. DeMar, and some of them were coming straight from the media scrums where I tried to make the questions different, but there was probably some overlap there. And it felt like DeMar had said a lot in his media scrum, and he had said what he wanted to say by the time he got to our interview. So I didn't want to pry that much. I have Keon here. I also have Isaac Jones, Hot Honey Jones. I think that, his conversation and opening up about Domantas Sabonis as a leader, what he can do with that 7'3" wingspan defensively, that he was probably the most stock-up player after media day, because you're sitting there looking at him, you're thinking, and I know Dario Saric was really open in his, we didn't get him on the show, but was really open in his media scrum. He said, I can still play. I don't know why the Nuggets didn't play me. So I think there's going to be a battle for those backup 4 minutes. And I just really like Isaac Jones. He was talking to us about how he added more arc to his shot just naturally flat. So I think he was the most, maybe we're not talking about Isaac Jones enough. That was my thought. And Henry Turner was all over that in that hour that we spent together to kick off the show. But it's hard to, if I'm just putting Malik in a box here, because we're going to play that whole thing. And we'll play Keon's too before the week is over. But yeah, Keon just being, that was the first time, and he did it in a very Keon way, but that was the first time Keon, in a conversation that I had with Keon, was a bit more open when I asked him about possible free agency and what could happen there. I think after hearing what he said, it made me realize, okay, he wanted to stay. Not that he won't stay in Sacramento, but he did not want to hit free agency per se. Or he said it would have been nice to just know that you can be locked in with the Kings and they're going to have you in restricted free agency and go from there. Meanwhile, all these other restricted free agents, they don't want restricted free agency. So it's funny to see kind of the difference there. We were speaking with someone, I think from Bleacher Report, a couple months ago now, and they said, to that point, Allen, I don't know that Keon, I think it was Dan Favale, and he said, Allen, I don't know that Keon would really even want to hit free agency. And that goes back to maybe the purple lenses a little bit that a lot of Kings fans have for Keon, thinking, oh my goodness, we're going to lose him. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. How could they do this? And maybe the Kings feeling like this was a necessary risk, whether you agree with it or not. And even Keon feeling, if you think you're in line for a huge payday, and I get it, just a safer situation is better, especially for somebody like Keon. But if your agent is telling you this is perfect, we're in line for this big old payday, I think to that point and what Dan said, with the logjam at the guard position, Keon still maybe feeling like, yeah, we out here got to grind to get on the court, and then on top of that, to get paid. It's not as if I think a lot of Kings fans thought, oh, we're going to get priced out, and that might happen, but that is not the vibe that I got from Keon in just a couple words that he said about that situation.
I mean, the market kind of changed. I mean, no one's offering 4-year contracts to anybody that's under or over 24 years old now. So maybe Keon's looking at a 2 or a 3-year type of deal in free agency, whether it's the Kings or somebody else. I can't remember who did the breakdown, but it's like his market is somewhere between $15 and $20 million per year right now, which is the big contract he's always been hoping for, but it's not going to be the $100 million deal that I think some people maybe thought it was going to be coming off of last year when he was kind of inserted into the starting lineup post Mike Brown.
Yeah, and look, man, if he was a little bit taller, he'd be that. And we talked about Jaden McDaniels yesterday. If he was a little bit taller, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, these guys, and Nickeil Alexander-Walker is not that much taller than Keon, so maybe that's even a better comp, to be honest with you. And I think Keon is better offensively than Nickeil Alexander-Walker.
Which, for reference, he got 3 years, 42.
Okay. Well, there you go. So, and that was a situation where this dude's on a playoff team with Anthony Edwards on the big stage. The Kings being set at 34.5 wins, is Keon going to get the same type of eyes and recognition that a Nickeil Alexander-Walker would get? I don't know, right? The Derek Jones Jr.'s, guys like that, that's kind of where Keon fits. Keon, and they all have a little different things. I would say Derek Jones Jr. is a little bit more athletic than Keon. So a couple differences there. But, yeah, that was a bit illuminating when he said what he said, because I think a lot of us weren't sure how Keon felt about it. And I think they had a conversation, but Keon and his camp, they were hoping to just go the restricted free agency route and, just kind of continue on with the Kings. And this is going to look a little bit different as the season goes on, since the Kings decided to pick up that option. And to be fair, Keon didn't say that verbatim, right? And when we replay it, he says that would have been nice when I ask him about now that you're about to hit free agency. So we are putting 2 and 2 together here, to be completely fair. He did not say, yeah, I wanted them to not pick up the option. He did not say that exactly. Just got to be clear. When we return, Coach Eric Martins, for the last time this season, third base coach for the Athletics, we will talk to him about what is next for the A's and how he feels the season went. More Allen Stiles Show coming up.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So I'm opening my own coffee shop.
I smell a caffeinated catastrophe.
And I needed menu boards and banners printed.
What you really needed was a reality check.
Staples really came through. They printed menus and signs, even flyers, in time for my grand opening.
And that's when the other shoe dropped.
Not quite. I got $125 off my custom print order.
Cha-ching! For your business printing, Staples.
That was easy.
Now save up to $125 on custom print orders. Valid in-store and online. Ends 11/1. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
With 25 award-winning years in Northern California, Ashton & Price is your local injury law firm. Pro attorney tip: if a firm presents as local but they're in LA, red flag. If your first consultation is not with a lawyer, big red flag. At Ashton & Price, your first consult is with a local attorney, and if serious injury prevents travel, a lawyer will come to you. Still not enough? George Washington's my uncle. At Ashton & Price, no red flags, just red, white, and blue.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
Need cash fast? Tap into the value of your home with a home equity line of credit from Valley Strong Credit Union. Whether it's for home improvements, debt consolidation, or that dream vacation, you can get your cash offer in minutes. That's right, just minutes to unlock the power of your home's equity with no hard credit pull to see how much cash you can get. No stress, no waiting, just smart local banking that puts you first. Grow your possibilities with Valley Strong Credit Union. Visit valleystrong.com to get started today.
Hi, Sacramento. It's the No Surprise Guys at Bell Brothers. AC acting up? Call Bell Brothers. Need a new system? Get $2,500 off, 0% financing and no payments for 12 months and approved credit. Just need a tune-up? Get an $87 AC maintenance with same-day appointments. We're on time, quote up front, and fix it right. No surprises. Call Bell Brothers or book at thenosurpriseguys.com.
The deals are on now at the model year-end sales event at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Looking to own or lease? Save on year-end models and drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at folsomlakehonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Folsom Lake Honda. Go to folsomlakehonda.com.
Your one-stop Honda shop.
When I was a kid, I remember my dad, a lineman, leaving in the middle of the night. Families were depending on him to get their power back on to keep them safe and warm. Watching him taught me that this work isn't just about wires and circuits. It's about people and the trust they place in us when the lights go out. That's why I started Maverick Electric Heating and Air, to to carry on that same promise of showing up, doing it right, and protecting families when they need us most. Visit callamaverick.com.
Hey, this is Greg Papa. Are you working through a major insurance claim? SunPoint Public Adjusters can help. SunPoint prepares, presents, and negotiates your claim with the insurance company, working only for you, making sure you get everything you're entitled to, not what just some adjuster working for an insurance company thinks you should get. Call SunPoint today at 888-247-7865 or contact us at sunpoint.us. SunPoint Public Adjusters, the gold standard in public adjusting.
License number 2N14884.
Hello, Sacramento. I'm Emran Pilati, owner of True Sports Cards and Collectible Store here in Rockland, California, and the host of the True Sports Cards Show that airs right here on Sacktown Sports 1140 every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m., where we discuss the latest trends, hottest products, and deliver exclusive interviews with other industry leaders. And don't forget to visit our shop, True Sports Cards, at 6661 Stanford Ranch Road in Rockland and see what we have for all your sports card and memorabilia needs.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sacktown Sports 1140. Live and local.
It's Allen Stiles
on Sacktown Sports.
We are back, and you know what that music means. For the last time for this season, we are joined by the one, the only Coach Eric Martins, third base coach for the Athletics. Coach, thanks so much for joining us. Good to be talking with you again.
Oh, it's great, man. It's good to be back and good to see you again. Hope everything is going well with you and the new addition.
Thank you. You can't see the bags under my eyes from the video, so don't worry. Don't worry. We're all good. Hey, real quick, I noticed this because, I do stuff with the River Cats, and when there's somebody throwing out a first pitch, it kind of goes back and forth whether it's going to be a player or it could be somebody from, the Cat crew from our side of things. Did I see you, and was it for Deuce and Mo? Were you catching a first pitch recently?
Yeah, me and our first base coach Bobby Crosby will do it every other night. So it kind of gives it a pretty cool experience. Instead of it being a bat boy or something like that, we like to be a little bit personal with the guests that come out and throw the first pitch. So it's a pretty cool experience. I get to meet some. I think I caught Sabonis this year and his kid, which was pretty cool. So yeah, so sometimes you get to meet some really cool people when you do it, and so I don't mind doing it at all. I'm already out there anyway. So
gotcha. So it will be kind of like that situation I mentioned with the River Cats. It will be a player, but if the players are running around, something like that, then the coaches catch it.
Well, it's always us. Unless it's a special first pitch that is requested by, it's some of the front office. It's usually Bobby Crosby or myself or Mike Aldretti, our assistant hitting coach. It's either one of us three that do it. Sometimes like when Raleigh Fingers threw it out, I think earlier in the year, Mason Miller caught it. So it's just kind of one of those type of things. But most of the time, it's one of us three.
Gotcha. Talking to Coach Eric Martins, third base coach for the Athletics. Coach, let's just go general here. Season's over. We got the Tigers and the Guardians playing on the TV screen here. What's your initial assessment, just in general, of the season for the A's?
Oh man, I mean, it's and we'll continue to talk about it. Sums up our May, man. I mean, it's a different story if we could have just played a little bit better or just minimized that, you know what I mean? Because we actually really did have a really good season. We had some really good individual players that had put up some really good numbers. We did some good things as a pitching staff, defensively in the second half. Offensively, I mean, we were one of the best teams in the league. So it's an exciting group of players that we have. We started playing our best baseball in the second half. And if we could have just taken away some of that part in May, it would be a different story. And hopefully we'd be still playing right now. But for the most part, I think, there's a lot of different things that we had to deal with this year, coming into SAC and stadium, clubhouse and stuff like that. And that's not an excuse. You still got to go out and play baseball. But just a different scenery and not knowing what to expect coming in here. But you know what, man? Quite honestly, the situation was great. The fans were great. And the city was awesome. So.
Did you have a highlight? I think I saw. I'm not leading you in that direction. By the way, we did buy the big Amish shirts. The in-laws have them. They love them. So I'm not leading you in that direction. But I think I saw Nick Kurtz the most rookie home run since Mark McGuire, or for the just a crazy situation going on. But did you have maybe a highlight to the season? Doesn't have to be a player per se, but did you have a highlight from this past season?
Well, I mean, it's hard to ignore the day that Nick Kurtz had in Houston. You know what I mean? That's one of the most special nights you will ever see in baseball history. You know what I mean? So being a part of it and being around as he circled the bases and being able to high five him or low five him all those times. I mean, that was probably the highlight of the season for sure. I mean, just him being able to accomplish that, him being able to have that last opportunity and that last at bat with Carlos Cortez having a really good at bat and getting him that sixth at bat for him to be able to go deep. I mean, so many things had to happen for that to come to fruition, and it did, and it was just awesome to be part of it and see it. So, I mean, without a doubt, that's got to be one of the best parts of the season for me.
Coach, I'm talking to Coach Eric Martins. I don't necessarily expect you to know the exact number, but you were saying a couple different names here. And throughout the season, and I know you had some injuries, and that's why some of the call-ups happened, but I got to think that the A's called up. You got to be top 5, maybe even top 3 in the league in the amount of rookies that you called up. Felt like every week somebody was getting called up and hitting a home run and rounding the bases. How many guys do you think you roughly called up this season?
I don't know the exact number, but you're probably right in where we rank, because that's where we rank every single year. That's what we do. You know what I mean? We rely on our depth every time in spring training when we sign these free agents or we have guys in camp. We let them know, said, hey, there's a very good chance that many of you guys in this room are going to join us at some point. And it always happens, whether it's injury, whether they having a good year down in AAA, which Carlos Cortez was, and he got his opportunity to play with us, and he made the most out of it. So it's just kind of what we do. You know what I mean? We rely on our depth in free agency and in AAA, and especially with pitching. You never know what's going to happen with pitching. You can never have enough pitching. So it's just one of those things that we do every single year. We always rank at the top of transactions, more on the pitching side than the position player side. But it felt like, you're right, this year there was a lot more call-ups because of whether it was injury or us taking a look at different players.
Talking to Coach Eric Martins, third base coach for the Athletics. Coach, you mentioned that month of May and how it didn't go great for the Athletics. And when you look back on this season and then you see the Astros missing the playoffs for the first time in forever, and nobody's upset about that. But when you look at what this playoff landscape is right now, we talk so much about the big bad wolf, right? Yesterday for Kings Media Day. Hey, there's really the Thunder. Good team, great team, but there's no Kevin Durant Warriors right now. There's no kind of big, bad beast juggernaut. Do you feel like that's the case in baseball too, where, man, if it wasn't for that May, we really could be dancing here, because the parity is pretty great. It's always great in baseball, but specifically this season, the Mariners had a good stretch and kind of random teams that got in that a lot of people didn't expect. Does it feel like you're closer than maybe others would think, because there's really no, hey, well, once we get to this team, we're not going to have a shot? Some teams have good years, season by season, but that could be anybody.
Yeah, I mean, there's different ways to look at it, right? It was 20 out of 21.
Yeah.
But, there's no denying that. You cut that in half, even 10, we're in the mix, and talking about the teams that are in now, we beat Boston 2 out of 3 in Boston. We swept the Tigers when they came to Sacramento. We always play the Yankees pretty good. Seattle, we played well, whether our record doesn't look good, but every one of those games was a battle with them. So as you go around and you look, Cleveland always gives us fits because they play the game that we want to play. They put the ball in play. They don't have that big of great of an offense, but they pitch well, they play good defense, and they play really good baseball. So as you look around, we are one of those teams, and it just sucks that we couldn't just quite put that thing together in May or cap it off. But yeah, you're right. I mean, as far as parity goes, you look at it around now, even the Dodgers struggling going in. like if you were to ask me who's just going to run away with the World Series, you don't know. The hottest team is the Mariners going in right now. They
Yeah.
are the hottest team going in. That National League was crazy coming down to the last day with the Reds sneaking in. And you look at the Reds, we swept the Reds when they were here. So it's just one of those things where in baseball, you never know. Right? It's the hottest team going in, who's playing the best at that time. You see the D-backs when they won the World Series a couple of years, or actually were in the World Series a couple of years ago. They were playing well and they barely got in, but they were playing well and made it to the World Series. So you just never know. We are close as a team. We know it. Our team knows it. They're hungry. They feel it. They're like, wow, these teams that are in the playoffs right now, we should be part of them when we're close to it. So I think that's gonna help them in the offseason with the motivation and getting ready to be one of those teams next year.
As far as the offseason is concerned, talking to Coach Eric Martin's third base coach for the Athletics, obviously you're the third base coach. You don't handle the transactions and things like that. But what would you imagine the focus to be as far as what this team needs to be playing around this time next season?
Well, I think it always starts on the mound.
Yeah.
I think it always starts on the mound. No matter if you had a good staff, you're always looking to add depth because you never know what's going to happen with injuries. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things. I think if you look at our team offensively, we had a really good year offensively. Defensively, I mean, we lost Denzel Clark in center field, and we saw what he can do. But Lawrence Butler went out there and showed out himself.
Yeah.
So now you're able to move Lawrence back to right field. You have Denzel in center. And then in left field, Sodi, you look at Sodi. Sodi had a really good year in left field. I mean, he was on the nomination ballot for a Gold Glove, as was Lawrence Butler. So it's one of those things where it's like, okay, where are we looking to add? And we have the pieces offensively. You're always looking to shore up the starting pitching, always want to add to the bullpen. So I think it starts there. And then wherever else, if you can find a complementary piece, another right-handed bat somewhere, and go from there. But I think the team is really, really close. If we can add on the mound, I think we're a different team.
Specifically for you, what does your offseason look like now that it's underway here?
Well, I've been saving it for because of where I'm at in the season and where I'm at and where I'm playing up north. Because I am an avid, diehard Los Angeles Rams fan.
Oh.
And a Los Angeles Lakers fan, but I kept that under wraps.
I know you did. I know you let it slip out once or twice.
I did.
It's okay.
I didn't say anything about the Rams because I might have got in trouble there. So you know what, man, the first 2 weeks, honestly, I really just chill out, man. I decompress. I spend time with friends and family for a little bit, but I'm really decompressing during the day when all my friends and everybody's working. I'm probably in and out of naps all day.
Yeah.
And I tell my friends the first couple weeks, I'll see you on Sundays, Mondays, and Thursdays because those are football days. And then after a couple of weeks, it's like when I start to feel myself. But I am going to the Ram 49er game this weekend. I am going to the Ram 49er game up in Santa Clara. We usually take a trip. So we'll go see. We would love to have gone to Nashville this year, but the schedule makers weren't in our favor this year. So we're still trying to find out where we're going to go for our trip, and then we'll probably go to Arizona somewhere else too. So I usually, like I said, I chill out for a while, then I'll start getting back into, working out a little bit, catching up with the guys later on after the holidays. And I mean, it's weird, man. Once you get settled in here and feel like you're back home, you're like, wow, the holidays, and the next thing you know, it's spring training, and the next thing you're gone. So
yeah,
you kind of want it to slow down a little bit, so you kind of slow down away and stay away from the baseball stuff and be able to just let your mind relax and free and let your body relax, because that travel is no joke. I mean, we don't have to play, but it's still a grind on us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then mentally just decompressing, it's just good to just kind of just tone out for a little bit. So.
Man, we'll see what the Niners do against the Rams. Puka Nacua, that dude, he killed me in fantasy this past season. He killed me. And you know what? Just real quick, because now that we know you're a Rams fan, do you think, and maybe this is the season where it stops happening, but do you think Puka Nacua is underrated? I mean, he never gets talked about with the other guys. A lot of people have kind of said it's the system, and that's the first time I've ever heard that about a wide receiver. But, oh, no, Matthew Stafford, he makes life so easy, and that's why Cooper Kupp did it. But do you think Puka's just a little underrated here?
I mean, if he's underrated, that's people's problem, man, because this guy is really, really good, man.
Yeah.
And if it's calling a system, you still got to get open.
Right.
You know what I mean? You're talking about NFL DBs, putting pressure on him and man coverage and he's just physical, man.
Mm-hmm.
He's able to get separation. He's good. He's a good route runner. He's not fast. He's just very physical and is able to get separation, and his hands are incredible. So
yeah,
I mean, if people say he's underrated, then they're sleeping on him for sure, because this guy's been pretty good for the last couple of years.
Yeah,
So,
I'm not sleeping on him anymore. I'll tell you that much right now.
yeah.
Right
The addition
now.
of Devontae was good for him too, so
Right.
which is good. I mean, the Rams and McVay, he's just a genius, man. And Stafford is he even when Stafford was in Detroit, man, I was always a fan of Matthew Stafford because of his toughness. Even when he was in Detroit getting his butt kicked, and
Right.
but he always put up numbers, man. And I just like to see those guys. And when we traded for him, even though Goff is doing what he is in Detroit now, I think he was a better fit for us just because of his toughness.
Yeah, and you got the Super Bowl to prove it. Coach, one more question for you. Look, I'm not going to make you answer it, but if there was a World Series pick, I know some players, I'm not even going to watch it, and I don't know if coaches are like that as well, but do you have a World Series pick? Are you the type where, hey, well, I'll root for the Mariners because it's good for the division, like in college, it's good for the conference, or would you rather anybody else to win but the Mariners? Do you have a World Series pick for us?
I tell you what, man. I mean, I love Stephen Vogt. I have Coach Stephen Vogt. I'm a big fan of Stephen Vogt, and I love what he's done with his team. And the way they got in and grinded to get in to barely make it and play well at the end of the year, I would say Stephen Vogt, just because I'm a fan of Stephen Vogt, and I've had him here in Oakland, and he's beloved, and he's such a great guy. It's good to see Toronto doing what they're doing as well. I would say I'm always rooting for the underdog because we'll always be one of those guys when we get into.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I like those guys in the American League. In the National League, I mean, it's tough, man. The Brewers play really good baseball.
Yeah.
You watch them play, man, and you're just like, wow, that's how the game should be played. They're fun to watch. The Reds snuck in. You know what I mean? The Cubs are the Cubs. Dodgers, I don't know how they're going to do it, but they always find a way to do it. They're proven. So I would love to see Cleveland, and no one's going to want to see this World Series. I would say Cleveland, Milwaukee.
Hey, you know what? You'll want to see it. That's all that matters. That's all that matters. Cleveland, Milwaukee, we'll take it. Coach, it's been a lot of fun this season. Good luck.
Absolutely.
Enjoy yourself in the off season. And I know the A's have a really bright future here. And then last thing, Coach, just real quick, because it got released this weekend, the Sacramento special edition jerseys that got released or will be used next season. I know that you were really excited and really, enjoyed your time in Sacramento so far, even with the transition period. But just any thoughts on the Sacramento jersey that you guys will be wearing a little bit next season?
Yeah, they deserve it, man. I mean, they welcomed us with open arms. The fans were great this year. We had the patch on our uniforms, but they deserved a jersey for themselves, man. I mean, it's the city we're playing in for the next couple of years. And like I said, they've been great, man. I mean, the fans and the city's been amazing. So, I'm glad that they did something like that for them, man. It's just goes to show how appreciative we were of the fan base and everything like that. And this is our home for a couple more years, man.
Yeah.
So we might as well represent, right? So. And now they feel a part of us, and as we feel part of them.
Coach Eric Martins, again, thank you so much. This season was a lot of fun. Enjoy yourself this offseason. We will talk to you again very, very soon. Hopefully not too soon as far as you're concerned. And good luck headed into next season. We'll talk to you.
I appreciate it, Alan. Thanks for everything. It's been great.
That was Coach Eric Martins, third base coach for the Athletics. Great stuff there from the third base coach. And, it is one of those things where they have the shortest offseason out of any sport, any of the major sports.
Yeah, I think soccer.
They just don't stop. Everyone's on 12 teams.
Yeah, they're playing international cups.
Exactly.
Actually, now that you just reminded me of that, World Baseball Classic is in spring this year.
There you go. Because isn't Dusty coaching, Team Venezuela or something like that?
I didn't know that. But
it might not be Venezuela, but Dusty is definitely coaching a team. And I looked up, I said, is Dusty Latin? and he's not.
He's coaching the Nicaragua team.
Yeah, and he's not Nicaraguan.
Why?
Because I read the quote, and he said, I want to help build up their, I guess, baseball program out there in Nicaragua.
Yeah, so they're what an interesting group. Nicaragua will play in Pool D at the World Baseball Classic against Venezuela, the Dominican Republic, Netherlands, and Israel.
Okay, well maybe they can get Netherlands.
I guess,
or maybe Israel, but they're not. Yeah, the other two,
Venezuela and the Dominican Republic.
Dusty,
good luck, Dusty.
Good luck, Dusty. Speaking of Dusty's son, I just saw he essentially asked for some version of asking for his release from the Nationals. Darren Baker, shout out Cal. He asked for his release from the Washington Nationals, citing literally a better opportunity. Look, man, and I love Darren. Right, I always wanted to be a little second baseman. I'm in the second baseman's body. I'm just left-handed. But if you can't get burned on the Nationals, we might have an issue. I know the Nationals have a lot of prospects because they stink, but if there's only so many places you're going to be able to go. I will take them on the Giants, though. You can go in the Giants system. I'm just waiting for Dusty's name to be brought up in the coach's search, too. Because I know he's been around Sacramento. What are you laughing about?
Okay, this is completely off tangent to Dusty, but I tried to pull up the Nicaragua baseball roster to see if I recognize any of these names. Not a lot, but also there's just randomly an outfielder named Chase Dawson, who looks like a Chase Dawson.
On Nicaragua?
On Nicaragua.
These rules are very... Isn't Bo Bichette playing with Brazil or something?
Yeah, it's something like that.
And I don't know. I'm assuming he has some Brazilian in him, but these rules are very lax.
No, it is. But for the Nicaragua team, again, it's a lot of people you would expect to play for Nicaragua. And then Chase Dawson, born in the United States.
Hey, get in where you fit in. I was going to try to play for Panama a couple years ago.
I just now want to know, what is Chase's experience like? Because I'm looking up this roster. I don't recognize any of the names. It's not like these are major leaguers either.
It's a tryout. You know, I don't know what the camaraderie level is. He could talk to Dusty.
I guess. I mean, you've got to be able to speak Spanish, though. If you're Chase Dawson from the United States and you're going to play for the Nicaragua national team, you got to be able to speak Spanish.
I think on the other side of it, a lot of those players probably speak English, to be honest with you, or speak enough.
I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to find, again, I'm not as up on baseball. I'm trying to find a single person I recognize that's on a major league roster, and there's not.
Yeah.
It's not
just a big
lot.
tryout. We love it. And the last World Baseball Classic, that was the Shohei. Was it the Shohei kind of Mike Trout showdown?
Yes, that was. And Randy Arozarena robbing home run and hitting the pose in the outfield.
That's right. A lot of these sports they found, and as we have, I don't know what in the world Adam Silver was talking about playing the European teams in the playoffs. I'm thinking, brother, what are you talking about? What are you actually talking about?
They're trying to make this NBA Europe thing work.
Just. Can you find a way? And their, cup, the basketball, the NBA Cup, nobody has cared so far. And I know it's a little bit different, but hockey now, people love the hockey World Cup-esque tournament, if you will. People love the World Baseball Classic. Obviously, soccer is soccer. Basketball cannot figure it out, and I don't know. And football is just not going to happen. But basketball, football is going to Saudi Arabia to do the flag football thing, and that's just random and bizarre. But basketball cannot figure out, not that they have to, but it's funny that these sports have found a way to kind of cross over into a mini Olympics type of deal. But basketball, who is just as diverse as anyone as far as all the countries, basketball can't figure that out. I guess when you have the Olympics, it's a little bit different. You don't need it as much. But the Eurobasket, I know just random people were following it because of Dennis Schroeder, but they just don't have the same thing as some of these other major sports.
I mean, yeah, soccer is kind of the big version of it, where like the European Cup, which is their version of Eurobasket, is a big deal. Mm-hmm. and obviously the World Cup and Copa America and all that stuff. But baseball's kind of getting to that place now because people who love baseball really love this World Baseball Classic.
Yeah.
And again, we'll see what ends up happening this year because the last one was just amazing, right? Between Trout versus Ohtani and Arozarena and all the crazy stuff that was happening with the Cuban team. Like, there were so many good storylines in that one. We'll see if this one is as interesting. But I think baseball's kind of getting there. In basketball, it's just not. It's not going to happen.
And maybe they don't feel like they need it, right? I don't know that the NFL feels like they need it. On the other side, back to some Kings talk. Even though I still haven't gotten to talk to this guy, he had some great things to say to the morning show. Should the Kings extend Keegan Murray and how he feels about the team? We have sound from Keegan Murray and what Scott Perry had to say about the contracts. And if you don't think we're going to dig too deep on just a couple words from each of them, you don't know the Allen Stiles Show. Don't move. More Allen Stiles coming up.
Carmichael Dave here for my friends at American Energy Heating and Air. Yes, I always tell you they are a family-owned operation, been in business since 81, A-plus Better Business Bureau, but it is hot. We are in those Sacramento hot months. I want to focus on them being your second opinion partner. What does that mean? Maybe you've got somebody you're working with or you've worked with in the past in the HVAC world. Guess what? They want to give you a second opinion. How much does it cost? Nothing. Nothing. You call them up and say, hey, can I get a second opinion on this deal? They come out and they either say, wow, that's a great deal, you should feel better about that, or they say we can beat that price, and usually they're going to beat it by a lot. Guess what? You just saved money and it didn't cost you anything to find out. It's a no-lose situation. Go with a trusted company, American Energy, 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com. Jingle singers, take it away.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Get ready for 2 epic showdowns of Monster Truck Madness at the Stockton Dirt Track, Saturday, October 4th. Feel the roar, the power, and the ground-pounding action. 2 shows, 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. Do you have what it takes to survive the madness? Get your tickets now at StocktonDirtTrack.com.
It's Laramie the Golden Retriever with Vince Bloom the Big Guy.
The weather's getting cooler, but at Folsom Lake Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram, the deals are hotter than ever.
How do you mean, Vince?
It's the Drive Into Fall event, and prices are falling like leaves on every Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram in stock. Listen.
During the Drive Into Fall event at Folsom Lake Dodge, save over $6,500 net savings off MSRP on a new 2025 Jeep Wrangler 2-door Sport. That's over 17% off.
And I've got 5 at this hot deal.
Or rustle up over $10,000 off a new 2025 Jeep Grand Cherokee Limited. Over 19% off.
The Drive Into Fall at Folsom Lake Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram. Even Laramie knows now is the time for a deal. Right, Laramie?
At Folsom Lake Dodge.
To the Folsom Auto Mall and online at FolsomLakeDodge.com.
Wrangler includes $44.85 dealer discount plus $2,000 in national retail bonus cash. VIN SE 658348. Grand Cherokee includes $45.25 dealer discount plus $5,500 in national retail loyalty and select inventory bonus cash. VINs S 8667701, 629-387, 669458. See dealer for details. Expires 9/30/25.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
Our office computers were from like 2012.
What? They had computers then?
Yeah, I don't know much about new tech.
Apparently.
So I went to Staples and saved big on an AI-powered HP laptop and HP OfficeJet Pro printer, which also came with 3 months of free instant ink.
And we're back in this century. During Staples HP Tech Event, save up to 35% on HP printers and up to 40% on AI-powered HP PCs.
That was easy.
In-store, online, and on the app. Into 11/1 select models only.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit info kit. 800-838-6767. That's 800-838-6767.
Hit the field during Sky River Casino's $400,000 touchdown for a truck giveaway. Play slots and table games daily to earn entries. Then join in on the action every Saturday for a chance to score up to $15,000 in free play or a brand new 2025 Chevy Silverado 1500. Visit skyriver.com to see how you can get 100 bonus entries every Tuesday and Friday. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 21 or over.
Allen Stiles. Watch the show on youtube.com/SacktownSports1140
or listen on the Sacktown Sports app.
Thanks again to Coach Eric Martins. We're getting back into some Kings talk here. And man, oh man, we have a couple different notes from Keegan Murray's interview with the morning show. And we have a couple different notes from Scott Perry, who we spoke to yesterday morning. And we got, Kyle got thrown right back in the pool. Haven't been on the air for 3 weeks. Sit down. I'm not going to lie. I thought I might get warmed up with, you never know what's going to happen, number one. But I thought I might get warmed up with maybe a two-way guy or maybe one of the rotation guys. I see Scott Perry mosey on over. And then I think for sure, okay, he's going to the morning show. And then he sat down, and I think they might have given him to us. I think that was a solid that they did. I can't confirm or deny, but based on the rest of their roster, then they said, hey, Allen, we're going to talk to Scott Perry pretty often. Why don't you go ahead and take him? So I'm very appreciative, Chris Verlade, if you're listening. But I got thrown right back in the pool. And thank you, Kyle. We had our questions all ready to go. And it was a very, very interesting conversation with Scott Perry. And we're going to get to what he had to say. But first, let's hear from Keegan. He had a couple different sound bites from Media Day, and a lot of people were trying to figure out what he meant by this, as he said, this is the first year that there are no strings attached. Here it is.
Especially with Scott and Doug, they just have full faith in me to do whatever I can do on the court. So it's the kind of first year I've kind of had no strings attached and things like that. So I'm excited to implement everything that I worked on this summer and get going.
Again, the theme of the day for yesterday, for me and everyone that I spoke to, and I didn't even speak to Keegan, but honestly, this is my first time hearing it, but transparency. Now, can we try to diagnose what Keegan meant by no strings attached here? Do you have an initial thought, Kyle? Because I do.
Well, okay, first to your point, there were like 15 interviews and multiple ones. Most fascinating person all day was Keegan.
Mm-hmm.
Like the whole 9 minutes he did with the media.
Yeah.
So fascinating.
Yeah.
But to the no strings attached point, I understand what he meant in year one a little bit in last year, given that DeRozan was coming in and they were kind of asking him to change his role a bit. But what is the easy thing that people have diagnosed is what was the difference between this year and the 3 years before, and it's the coach, and he specifically mentioned Scott and Doug, so maybe they were trying to put him in a box before more than it feels like now.
Yeah, and you can look at this offensively and defensively, because defensively, we talked about Isaac Jones and Dario Saric just having more fours on the team, but they didn't go out and get a four that's going to prevent Keegan from having to defend as much as he did last season. I guess you could argue with Keon slated to play more with the addition of Nick Clifford, maybe they're saying, even if you're going to be our number 1-4 defensively, you're not going to have to run around. I always joke, you're not going to have to guard Draymond one possession and Steph Curry the next. You're not going to have to do that anymore, right? And having Jake LaRavia, I think, helped Keegan a lot. My thought process is just that. Offensively, we just want you to go out there and ball and do you. The post-ups that we talked about, that we joked, we're not going to have these conversations anymore. The post-ups, Keegan, just go out there and do what you need to do. And maybe there was a conversation even with the DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine. Hey, we all know Keegan needs to get going offensively in order for us to take the next step. Then defensively, hey, we continue to bring in guys that can defend, we feel, at a high level. You're not going to be running around everywhere, right? You're going to have to guard the 4. Sometimes you're going to have to guard the 3, but we're not going to have you guarding guards anymore. So you can focus more on starting to specialize where you're at. So I thought that was something, again, unprompted. All these guys were saying all this stuff unprompted. Clean slate, felt like a weight had been lifted off of them. Kyle, let's get to what Keegan had to say about his goals for this season and what he wants to shoot from three-point range, and also an actual award that he is shooting for. Here it is.
Yeah, I mean, get back to 40% from three, and then try and get on the most improved list. Obviously, you gotta win games to be the winner of that, but that's one of my goals this year.
There you have it from Keegan about wanting to be the most improved player, or at least be on that list. We got one more from Keegan, and then we will get to what Scott Perry had to say. And the note on what Keegan did say was De'Aaron Fox, that relationship, Uncle Keegs, and how things have just kind of changed a little bit. And that's how it happens in this business and in any business. You have your mentor or whoever it is that ends up leaving a team or leaving your job, whatever it is. You have to look yourself in the mirror and say, okay, I'm kind of on my own now. And it happens to everyone. You're going to look around and you're going into your fourth year now. Yeah, it was nice that you had that relationship, but now you're married now. You might have your own baby Keegans running around soon. It's time for you to kind of take that next step, and I think that's what we're starting to hear and see from Keegan. The question is, will all of that happen after this season on the Kings or not? So let's hear from Scott Perry when I asked him about the Keegan Murray situation here.
A couple different rumors floating around throughout the summer, and one of the guys walking around that we see is Keegan Murray. People keep hitting me up on the text line, on the call line. What's going on with Keegan's extension? How much can you share with us about what your plans are for Keegan and where you would like this to go?
Yeah, no, we like Keegan Murray. Obviously, I haven't had a chance to work with him on a daily basis, with practice and those things. That obviously begins tomorrow. But I had a lot of respect for him from afar, just the type of character that he brings to his day-to-day life. I mean, he's the kind of person you want in your organization because he's about the right things. He's a hard worker. He's about the team. I believe he really likes it here in Sacramento. He's 6'9". He's very versatile at both ends of the floor. So that versatility allows you to do a number of different things with your roster. So we'll continue to getting to know one another, and hopefully we figure out a way that he's going to be here with the Sacramento Kings long term.
Am I tripping?
Are you tripping?
I know I've been on this for a while, and he being very honest, Scott Perry, as he always is, haven't gotten to work with Keegan as much as they'd like to, and that all starts, he said, today. I would not be surprised if Keegan hits restricted free agency. And I don't know why, just the way, and I get it, you have to talk like this, you have to keep things very generic, I get all that, but it is very non-committal, which is smart, but also he is the only guy like this on the team. I just don't know how coy you have to be when you don't have another Keegan Murray on this team. But with that being said, what I took from his answer is we like the idea of Keegan. We have to see if it's the best decision for us and vice versa.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to look at it. Just for context on the I haven't gotten to work with Keegan, Keegan said in his big presser with everyone, which again is the most fascinating of anyone, which I know is funny because it's Keegan, but Keegan said so many interesting things. But he left Sacramento the entire summer from like May until the wedding. He was out of town, and he said that was the first time he'd ever done that. His last 2 summers, he had been in Sacramento the whole time. So Keegan went away basically to work out this summer, which I think was he talked about like a fresh perspective for him at this point in his career. So maybe that's part of the conversation, is that he hasn't been around Sacramento all that much this summer. But I still feel like if you're Scott Perry, you kind of can read the room on what he means to this team and what he means as a locker room guy. I know it's funny because we think Keegan doesn't talk as much, but Keegan's kind of like one of the leaders on this team now and has kind of been that for most of last season. So I feel like even still, you can read the room on where things stand with Keegan.
Should the Kings extend Keegan Murray, or should this be a prove-it season and then you pay him in restricted free agency? Let's keep the conversation going on the other side. 916-339-1140. How are you feeling about the Kings? And do you have any more hope like me after Media Day? Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
Hi, this is Greg Papa. Disasters hit every day. If your home, business, or building has suffered from any disaster, SunPoint Public Adjusters can help. SunPoint prepares, presents, and negotiates your claim with the insurance company, working only for you, making sure you get everything you're entitled to and letting your focus be on what's most important, your family or your business. Call SunPoint today at 888-247-7865 or contact us at sunpoint.us. SunPoint Public Adjusters, the gold standard in public adjusting.
License number 2N14884.
Need cash fast? Tap into the value of your home with a home equity line of credit from Valley Strong Credit Union. Whether it's for home improvements, debt consolidation, or that dream vacation, you can get your cash offer in minutes. That's right, just minutes to unlock the power of your home's equity with no hard credit pull to see how much cash you can get. No stress, no waiting, just smart local banking that puts you first. Grow your possibilities with Valley Strong Credit Union. Visit valleystrong.com to get started today.
So my mother is thinking of switching from Verizon to Pure Talk, but she's worried the deal sounds too good to be true. Michael, she said, how can those Pure Talk people offer me the same basic service as Verizon for so much less money? I said, Ma, go ask Google how much Verizon spends on advertising and promotions. A few seconds later, my mother said, oh my goodness, $12 billion a year? That must be a typo. I'll tell you what I told my mom. It's not a typo. Verizon spends $12 billion a year on advertising and promotions, and their customers are paying for it. Well, Pure Talk doesn't spend that kind of money on commercials. Trust me, I would know. That's why they can offer you and my mother unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data on a crazy fast 5G network for just $25 a month. And if you're a business owner, you could really save a fortune. Dial pound 250, say the words Mike Rowe, and you'll get an additional 50% off your first month. That's pound 250 Mike Rowe. Pure Talk. Everything you need and nothing you don't.
When I was a kid, I remember my dad, a lineman, leaving in the middle of the night. Families were depending on him to get their power back on to keep them safe and warm. Watching him taught me that this work isn't just about wires and circuits. It's about people and the trust they place in us when the lights go out. That's why I started Maverick Electric Heating and Air, to carry on that same promise of showing up, doing it right, and protecting families when they need us most. Visit callamaverick.com.
Lowe's knows how to get you ready for holiday hosting with up to 35% off select home decor. And get up to 35% off select major appliances. Plus, members get free delivery, haul-away, basic installation, parts, and a 2-year Lowe's protection plan when you spend $2,500 or more on select LG major appliances. Valid through 10/1. Member offer excludes Massachusetts, Maryland, Wisconsin, New Jersey, and Florida. Installed by independent contractors. Exclusions apply. See Lowe's.com for more details.
When you bundle renters and auto with Progressive, you can save while protecting your most valuable possessions, like your priceless vinyl collection. Sure, you sleep on a futon because the money most people would have spent on a bed you spent on more records. But forget the fact that you can stream just about any song ever created for a few dollars a month. No, you need to listen to music in the most difficult way possible. So go ahead and get Progressive so you can save while protecting the things that matter to you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
The deals are on now at the model year-end sales event at Balsam Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Looking to own or lease?
Save on year-end models and drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Go to FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Your one-stop Honda shop. It's championship night at Stockton 99 Speedway, Saturday, October 11th. Pro late models, mini stocks, legends, pure stocks, and mini modifieds in an all-out war for the crown. Kids 10 and under are always free. Grab your crew and hit Stockton99.com for tickets and info. Then be there when the dust settles and legends are made. Allen Stiles
You can join the show by texting 916-339-1140.
on Sacktown Sports.
You know what was interesting to me? I was thinking about this during the break. Scott Perry saying that he didn't really, or he hasn't got to work with Keegan on a daily basis. What that even looks like as a GM. He's not the coach, right? I know he wants to be really hands-on, but he's not the coach, number one. It's September 30th, and that extension has to be agreed upon, as we learned throughout this offseason, Kyle, before the start of the season, which is the end of October. So in the last 3 years of what Keegan has done for this team, it's going to come down to 1 month with a GM who, and maybe this makes sense, a GM that didn't draft him, that isn't very familiar with him. So the more I think about it, does it make more sense that Keegan is going to hit restricted free agency based on the situation? Scott, this would be completely different if it was Monty McNair who drafted Keegan and obviously had felt like Keegan could be, was around when Keegan had the rookie year and did all that he did for the team. But Scott Perry, based on how this whole thing works, gets hired during the offseason, can't really have that many, whatever the rules are, obviously Jabari Smith Jr., but how things typically work. Keegan wanted to go off and kind of do his own thing. Then he gets married, right? Still trying to figure out where that honeymoon was. And then they come back. Training camp is about to start. The season starts in a month. I guess when you say it out loud like that, I guess it makes more sense that he wouldn't get the extension versus actually getting the extension.
But the extension isn't really based on that. It's based on their long-term projectability.
But maybe that's Scott Perry saying, I don't know where Keegan is as far as that projectability.
Maybe that's the answer then, but this is kind of a difference in philosophies for different GMs, right? Like some GMs didn't really like having personal relationships with guys. It was kind of like a separation of powers kind of situation. Some people like getting to know all these people and things of those sorts, but he didn't draft Keegan Murray. They're not committed to Keegan Murray in the same way I think Monty McNair would have been. I think if Monty and Wes were still in charge, Keegan would have gotten the extension already. But this is a different regime, different attachments, and they're reconstructing a roster based on their own vision, and at some point that's going to include wanting to bring in their own players. That's not saying Keegan won't be part of the future, but a new front office is always going to want to bring in their guys.
Yeah, and the difference between, number one, we learned this during the offseason that the Rockets wanted to get their ducks in a row and their books in order for the ridiculous Kevin Durant trade. That's why they wanted to settle on Jabari Smith Jr. Then also when you look at Jabari Smith Jr., the Rockets have kind of more of a clear-cut plan, even though Fred VanVleet is injured now. But the conversation is, hey, we're going to have Kevin Durant for a couple years. I know he wants to sign an extension, but we're going to have Kevin Durant for a couple years. Jabari Smith Jr. is going to kind of get in where he fits in. One of the best players, I would say, in the league off the bench. And then when Kevin Durant, if he ever retires or just decides to go to another team at 47 years old, Jabari Smith Jr. will have maybe a year left on his deal, maybe more than that. And at that point in time, we'll feel comfortable to probably give him another extension or just say, hey, you're a really good bench player. If you want to go be a starter somewhere else, cool.
Well, the other interesting part is like Jabari Smith is the comp because he was the third pick in that draft compared to, say the guys, Keegan and him have had comparable careers.
Yes.
So that's the one. And pick 1, pick 2, and pick 3 have all signed long-term extensions now, being Paolo Banchero, Chet Holmgren, and Jabari Smith Jr.
Yeah.
But if we do go down the list a bit, Ivy didn't get an extension. Matherin hasn't gotten an extension. Jeremy Sohan hasn't gotten an extension yet. Tari Eason didn't get an extension from the Rockets, even though the Rockets extended Jabari Smith Jr. So I guess in that sense, it's not as strange, but it feels like the ball is in the Kings' court to set that market because the other 3 top picks have signed.
It's strange because out of all the names you just listed off, Keegan is the most important to his team. That's my argument, because Matherin's a bench guy. Ivy, I know he was starting to figure it out. Then he got injured, and the Pistons didn't really miss a beat.
Malik Beasley, they were better with Malik Beasley.
Exactly. So that's the difference there. What's funny is, on the flip side, when you look at Jabari Smith Jr., it's almost as if the Rockets were willing to sign Jabari Smith Jr. because they know what he's going to be. And even at the same price point, the Kings might not, and they have a plan, right? And being a bench player, being the 6th man or the 6th man as far as the big men are concerned for the Rockets is a little bit different because that team is trying to compete for championships. They're in the playoffs each and every season. So they're okay with giving him that money because they have a plan. The Kings, funny enough, even though Keegan is more important to the Kings than Jabari Smith Jr. is to the Rockets, that's almost the argument for them to see this play out because it's a bigger deal, even though they're probably worth the same amount of money.
Yeah, and they're obviously at the top of the class. I kind of forgot one other, but they don't play the same position, so it's not a good comp. But Dyson Daniels is also extension eligible. Man. Who knows what he's going to get?
Yeah, he's going to get. I mean, he's all what was he, first team all defense?
Yeah, I mean, probably going to get 25 to 30.
And just wait until he learns how to score a basketball.
Yeah, and again, different positions. Your beefy boy Jalen Duren also eligible for an extension.
Okay,
but again, Pistons are in a different spot right now than the Kings would be.
So all of these guys, just like Keegan, have until the start of the season, and then they would all be restricted free agents.
Yes, exactly. Which, again, different positions, different markets. But if we're just looking at like the wings, then yeah, Ivy, Matherin, Sohan, who's kind of a power forward, Tari Eason, those are kind of the guys that Keegan's market is going to be built around. Mm-hmm. And to the point you mentioned, only Jabari Smith has signed, and that was because the Rockets needed to figure out their books in order to make a Kevin Durant trade and eventually make a Kevin Durant extension. Mm-hmm. So I guess different situation even than the rest of the market, but the ball is basically, I mean, again, outside of those 3 and Jalen Williams on the Thunder, who of course got a max, everyone else is eligible for an extension, and the ball is in the courts of those teams to offer extensions in the next 3 weeks. I'm actually a little surprised as we talk about it that more teams haven't locked up their guys long term.
Yeah, and maybe that is, again, a note to sway it back in the other direction, is to say, hey, now the difference is new GM, right? All these teams, which might help or hurt Keegan's case, but new GM, you have a month versus you have all this time. And I know some of these teams probably switched GMs, but most of these teams, same GM that drafted these guys, are still in the building.
Yeah, I'm doing the math here. So Pistons have a different GM than who drafted Ivy. Mm-hmm. Hawks have a new GM this year, so yeah. I guess Daniels is kind of in that situation. But Spurs, same GM. Pacers, same GM. Rockets, same GM. Yeah. You know, same regime that drafted them now gives them that second extension.
That's where this whole thing lands. If you're asking me, do I think Keegan will get the extension? I do. Personally, I do. Now, when I say all this stuff out loud, it makes me think, man, I mean, I guess there's definitely a world where he doesn't get it. But personally, I think he gets it because when you look at, and we spent a lot of time yesterday talking about types of players, when you look at Keegan, not as a star anymore, not that he won't be, but just for this exercise and to play it safe, he still fits where the league is going, right? If this was a Malik Monk type situation where, these 2 guards that are slightly undersized, we don't know this, or even a Jaden Ivey, if you will, who is a point guard, So he's got a lot of value there, but, kind of more combo-esque. He's had some injuries. But Keegan Murray at 6'9", and Scott Perry described it, at 6'9", can defend and can shoot, even though I have a feeling that he is going to turn on, and we had the stats, Kyle. After January, he really turned it on from the three-point line. It doesn't really have to be about the relationship or not. That's somebody that you just say, yeah, we need somebody like that on the team. 25 years old? Yeah, we need somebody like that on the squad.
Yeah, 25 years old who can go for 12 threes and 48 points. We've seen it before, at least.
So that's where I'm at with it. As far as Scott Perry is concerned, we have the interview in its entirety coming up in about 3 minutes. Don't move. My conversation with Scott Perry when we return to kick off the 12 o'clock hour. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The Sacktown Sports 49ers report is brought to you by Kia of Vacaville, located beside the Vacaville outlets. Niners suffer their first loss of the season, 26-21 to Jacksonville. Brock Purdy returned after missing 2 games and threw for over 300 yards and a pair of touchdowns, but also had a couple of interceptions. Travis Etienne rushed for 124 yards and a TD for Jacksonville. Quick turnaround for SF as they travel to LA on Thursday for a big divisional matchup. Catch the game this Thursday beginning at 4 o'clock right here on Sacktown Sports 1140.
Football season is here at Kia of Vacaville. You can score big in a new 2025 Kia Niro LX with up to 53 MPG combined at Kia of Vacaville. Perfect for road trips, tailgates, and cruising to Levi Stadium in style and comfort. But don't wait. Inventory is limited at Kia of Vacaville, and these deals won't last long. Visit KiaVacaville.com or stop by right next to the Vacaville outlets for friendly service, easy shopping, and unbeatable value. All in one stop. Kia of Vacaville, where the adventure begins.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave. I got to tell you, I am so excited to get this decking project started with Trex Decking and Railings. From the first time I stepped foot in the showroom last week, I was so impressed. So many color options, heat-resistant composite deck. What does that mean? That means I don't have to do any maintenance on it whatsoever. They even have a deck designer, so you can go online and see what your dream deck will look like on your house. Just visit Trex, that's TREX.com to get it started. Tell them Carmichael Dave sent you.
At Valley Strong Credit Union, we know that local businesses are the backbone of the Central Valley, investing in our neighborhoods, boosting the economy, making the Valley stronger. But when it comes to their finances, where can they turn? A big bank that just sees another number? That's not good enough. Valley businesses deserve Valley support for payroll, credit, cash flow, and everything in between. Valley Business is Valley Strong. Learn how our cash management services can support your business at valleystrong.com.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with autopay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just 1 cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here.
Based on analysis by Ookla of speed test intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025, Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 in monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Sacramento's official home of the 49ers.
San Francisco!
Sacktown Sports 1140. Live and local.
It's Allen Stiles
on Sacktown Sports.
As promised, if you missed our Scott Perry interview yesterday, and it was a good one. It was a doozy if you missed that interview yesterday. We have it for you in its entirety right now to kick off the 12 o'clock hour, and then we will discuss everything that Scott Perry had to say. It is myself, along with Henry Turner, the high flyer. Here it is.
We are joined by GM of your Sacramento Kings, Scott Perry, to kick things off. We're starting out with a bang today. Thank you, Scott Perry, for joining us.
Oh, thank you guys for having me, man. Excited to be on with you, and appreciate the work that you do and in and around this town, and looking forward to doing this more often with you guys.
That's good, Scott. You know, you have definitely come into a situation to where, you know, you talk about boots on the ground. Your boots have been on the ground, because I know it's a lot of work that needs to be done, a lot of things that needs to be changed. But can you talk about, you know, just how you go by the day-to-day process?
Oh, absolutely. And one of the things, the most important thing I felt I did when I first came into this organization is just wanted to get the pulse of what was going on, not assume anything. So I met with every single person in basketball operations and a number of the key people over on the business side, because, again, I'm a person that wants to develop a community that works together. Mm-hmm. And I want to hear from people. And everybody, no role is too big or no role is too small. Everybody, you know, so people who were going to stay around, I wanted to know their stories, learn about their experiences here, and then also gave me an opportunity to express the vision that I have for this team. And so that's going to be important, because we got to have buy-in. And so I'm a big guy. I'm big on open communication, sharing a lot, empowering people. So I've spent a lot of time doing that these first 5 or 6 months here, obviously developing the staff, both front office staff and helping Doug with his coaching staff. So you want quality people in here. Character is extremely important to me. And then lastly, I came in, and there's nothing more important than establishing an identity of who you're going to be, how you're going to work, and what does it mean to be a Sacramento King. And so I talk about, you'll hear me say this often, the 6 pillars or 6 values of what we stand for: competitive, tough, team-oriented, professional, accountable, and disciplined. That's everybody. It starts with me, but I don't care what your role is in this organization. I want you living by that every day. Obviously, we want the team to reflect that in how they play as well.
Talking to Scott Perry, GM of the Sacramento Kings. Scott, a couple different rumors have been out and about. I'm sure you're used to it, but a couple different rumors floating around throughout the summer, and one of the guys walking around that we see is Keegan Murray. Mm-hmm. People keep hitting me up on the text line, on the call line. What's going on with Keegan's extension? Mm-hmm. How much can you share with us about what your plans are for Keegan and where you would like this to go?
Yeah, no, we like Keegan Murray. Obviously, I haven't had a chance to work with him on a daily basis, you know, with practice and those things. That obviously begins tomorrow. But I had a lot of respect for him from afar, just the type of character that he brings to his day-to-day life. I mean, he's the kind of person you want in your organization, because he's about the right things. He's a hard worker. He's about the team. I believe he really likes it here in Sacramento. He's 6'9". He's very versatile at both ends of the floor. So that versatility allows you to do a number of different things with your roster. So we'll continue to get to know one another, and hopefully we figure out a way that he's going to be here with the Sacramento Kings long term.
You know what? You talked about your principles that you put down, and I was listening to you, and that sounds like your head coach, Doug Christie, from top to bottom.
Yes.
You know, I said earlier on in the broadcast, you know, no matter how things go, I know it won't be from the lack of trying, the lack of hard work. Can you just talk to us about how diligent Doug Christie is as a coach and how hard your man works?
It has really been a pleasure watching Doug work. Actually, I knew him a little bit before here, because I worked here 8 years ago, and I
Okay.
had met. Yes, right, and I met him when he was a player, first with the Toronto Raptors. So, and then obviously got a chance to watch him play a lot here in Sacramento. So, you saw the toughness, the work ethic, all of those, the competitive nature in Doug as a player. Now, fast forward to him, is Doug Christie, the coach. A couple things really stand out for me with Doug. A is his voice. He has got a very natural voice that can command the room. I think he has a lot of natural leadership skills and ability, the ability to unite people. And for a head coach, and me as being a former head coach in college myself, that's one of the most important characteristics you can have is the ability to communicate and get people to buy in to the vision and playing together. Doug brings that to the table. The other thing that's really impressed me over the summer is Doug's thirst for knowledge from the coach. And I've worked with a ton of head coaches in this league, and really he stands out to me in that capacity in the top 10 percentile in terms of saying, hey, I don't have all the answers. I'm trying to learn at every turn. And so the type of staff he assembled reflects that because he's added a lot of great experience to the staff. Trips that we've made this off season. I was fortunate enough to have a strong relationship with the Pittsburgh Steelers organization. I know Mike Tomlin very well. He's a friend of mine. So we were Doug, I, and B.J. Armstrong. We all went to the Pittsburgh Steelers training camp for 3 days, and even though it's a different sport. But you watch, in my opinion, Mike Tomlin is one of the great leaders in any sport. Right. And just his ability to command the room, communicate, and organize. Now, you're talking about, a roster of 53 guys, and there's 90 at training camp. And just Doug having the opportunity to sit down, ask questions, the note-taking. He was involved in every, meeting and things. And just watching him do that was invaluable for me. It was a great experience for him, and those are the kind of things he's going to want to do each and every off season to keep honing his craft. And having that trait will give him every opportunity, I believe, to be a really good coach in this league.
Talking to GM Scott Perry, and I love working with my guy Henry Turner here because this is turning into a bit of a good cop, bad cop situation, and, because I got to come with some of the tougher questions that everybody is curious about. Okay. So, Scott, I know you didn't think you were going to get out of here without at least a question about Jonathan Kaminga. And
who's that?
and this whole thing that's going on.
I know the rules a little better than he does.
Exactly.
But just from a general standpoint, what did you see in that situation? You always say being prudent, things like that. Anything that you saw just from how this team can improve and just the direction you think you could go?
I'm just going to obviously have to talk in very generalities. I can't get into talking about individuals.
Right.
But I said that at the very beginning about being prudent and trying to figure out how to improve this team. That's each and every day. I'm happy with the group that we have coming here to start training camp. My job and the function of a general manager of any team has to be really evaluating who you have and what you have, and then making an honest assessment on where you need to improve. And so that's where I'm at with this whole process. And so the names of the players, whoever, that doesn't matter right now as much to me as okay, does the person and the skill set fit? Because I'm a big person, and you guys will find this out about me. Obviously, you need talent in this league to win. There's no denying that.
Right.
But you need talent plus the character. I say this all the time to people when they start talking about, oh, you ought to trade for this player, that player. When you make a trade, when you sign a free agent, when you draft a player, two things are coming in the door: the player's talent and the personality. and they're not mutually exclusive. They're coming together. So you better be comfortable with both.
Right.
And so that is kind of the lens that I look through. I will continue to look through in terms of improving this roster in any of the avenues that we have available to us.
Now, you know what's got, it's funny you talked about looking through the lens, because I always say that it's a few different ways you watch basketball. When you're a fan, you watch the ball. When you're a coach, you watch the players. But when you're a GM, you have to look at basketball in a whole different eye, because you got to figure out, even if you got a good team, you still got to figure out those little intricacies that's going to take you to the next level.
There's no question about it. It's a tremendous point that you make. And I'm watching off the ball. I'm watching sidelines. I'm watching all of that kind of stuff, because, again, that lends itself. When you're talking about building a unit, you got to build a team that can not only come together, but they can also fight off external forces too, and be able to work through tough adversities. You know, I lean back on my time when my start in the league, all those years I worked with the Detroit Pistons, and learned a lot of lessons while I was there. A few things that I bring here. Really believe in building a deep team. I think you need teams that are deep now. 1 through 10 if you can, because that helps you sustain injuries. That helps you win a lot of games. Your second unit being able to come off and outplay another team's second unit. The toughness factor and the competition factor. See, I look for a lot of the intangible things. If you notice those 6 things that I talked about in the very beginning, it said had nothing to do with who jumped the highest, who shot the best, who runs the fastest. These are all controllable things that each human being has.
Right.
They have, but it's either coming from up here in the head or the heart.
Man.
And so
preach,
that's
preach, brother. Preach, brother.
So yeah, that's how we're working here.
Talking to GM Scott Perry. One more before we get you out of here. This is just one I've been curious about.
Okay.
Every Monday, you go about 4 or 5 a.m. at this point with the Monday motivations?
Mostly, yeah. I get up and work out every morning at 5 a.m. Sometimes I post it before I work out, or some other times after.
And just to confirm, because we have been asked, you are writing those.
Yes, I'm writing.
That's
so I still look. I read a lot, of course, but all of those, I'm not just copying and pasting those.
Right.
I may tweak some things that I see, some
Right.
messages
Yeah.
that I see along, but I've been a big motivational person all my life.
And I've been catching them too, man.
You've been catching them too.
Yeah. I'm watching from afar.
And what I do with those, not only I'm sharing those with the broad public, but I share those obviously internally too.
Yeah.
Because again, when you're talking about building the staff out, man, I'm trying to do everything I can to make everybody feel like they got a piece of this thing, because they do.
Yeah.
And so that's real important.
Because, bro, I mean, the word has to be buy-in.
Absolutely.
Buy-in.
Yep.
Everybody has to buy in.
Absolutely. There's no question about it.
Yeah, because I've been seeing them, and I'll get on my
Are you
TikTok.
are you liking them though?
I do.
You do? Okay.
No, because I get into TikTok black holes where I'm seeing all these different videos. It could be Kevin Hart, whoever, right? Just having these motivational quotes. So I'm big on it.
Well, I started it doing them internally a couple stops ago where I was working at. But what I started thinking, I said, maybe I'm not a big social media guy per se, but look, we live in a world so much negativity and stuff going on. I said, you know what? Part of our responsibility, let's get some positive energy out there from time to time, you know, because it's, to your point, you can get down these negative rabbit holes and you may never come out.
Right.
And see, it's so easy to jump to the negative side.
Yes.
But it's hard.
Right.
To keep it positive.
See, right. And so in the office, they'll tell you, they hear me say this a lot. We have a decision. Is the cup half empty or is the cup half full? I'm going to always choose half full. It's easy to complain about what you don't have.
Yeah.
No, what do we have?
Yeah.
And let's maximize what we have. And that's the task for not only me and the staff, but the team as well.
But that's a testament from where you come from.
Say that again.
Where you come from.
You know where I come from,
exactly.
right?
That's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
From where you come from, when you look at that cup,
yes,
you ain't never saying it's on the other end. You got to say, okay, well, how we gonna make this better?
There's no question about it, and that's the blessing really for me and us coming up in a place like Detroit, Michigan too. It makes you, you appreciate everything. So you look, okay, this is what I have. Oh, I got to make the most of it.
Sure.
No excuses, no explanation. I can't make a whole bunch of excuses about what I don't have. First of all, who's gonna listen? Who's gonna really care?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody gonna care at the end of the day. So if I want to make something for myself, of myself, I gotta go get it.
Right.
And I gotta take whatever I got to go get it and make it happen.
Hey, we got a 20-pound bag of potatoes over there. Go get the grease and ketchup. We got
exactly.
Scott Perry, thank you so much for joining us. This was a lot of fun.
No, I enjoyed it. Let's do it again for sure.
Let's do it again. Scott
Okay.
Perry, we will be back.
To the GM of the Kings for hopping on the Allen Stiles Show. Thanks to Henry Turner as well. Yeah, just great stuff in general. And the main thing that I took away, and obviously towards the end of it, we talked more. I felt like I came in a little hot there, right? But you never know. Let me just say, you don't know how much time you're going to have, because they do have the PR person or whoever it is, and they'll say, hey, 2 minutes and things like that. And I wanted to make sure the questions got asked that I know a lot of people wanted asked, right? As far as the Keegan Murray extension and the Jonathan Kaminga stuff, obviously Scott Perry can't get into detail there, but the back and forth as far as you're not just signing a player, you're not just drafting a player, you're not just trading a player, you are signing, drafting, trading a player as well as the personality and the person, not just what you see at the combine, not just what you see as far as the measurables. And we went back and forth basically trying to figure out if that was his way of saying that's why we are now out, or that's why we were in, because we do like what we have seen from Jonathan Kaminga. But it seems like as much fun as the summer was, it's at least done for now. I mentioned during the 10 o'clock hour that I was talking to Brett Siegel a little bit last night and this morning, trying to figure out, hey, would it make sense for you to hop on the show? But at this point in time, feels like the Jonathan Kaminga stuff is actually done this time. He's going to return to the Warriors. At least that's the feeling. It's just a matter of whether it will be on the qualifying offer or the contract that they then offered him. I don't know, man. I still feel like, and we have a little bit more Kaminga stuff coming up at 12:30, but I still feel like it's going to be the qualifying offer. I just think he hates them. I think he hates them so much that it's almost cutting off, cutting off your nose to spite your face. He hates them.
I mean, it's a trade-off, though, right? Like, when his agent did the media tour, which apparently the Warriors players did not like the agent going on the media tour.
Steph was not happy about the media tour.
But one of the things that Slater brought up is, like, there could be a compromise where they buy him out of his no-trade clause, which is essentially a one-year deal at some dollar value greater than $8.9 million to avoid the qualifying offer no-trade clause, which means the no-trade clause does have some value. Now, is it worth $40 million to Jonathan Kaminga in guaranteed money he's going to give up? Maybe, but it seems like the no-trade clause is valuable, so he's not just giving up, $8.9 million minus whatever guaranteed money, but I don't think the no-trade clause is worth all the money he's going to have to leave on the table.
Yeah, so like I said, we have more on Jonathan Kaminga coming up at about 12:30. But, just as far as Scott Perry is concerned, we know that he's really good at this. We know that he's really good at the media aspect of this. And don't forget my podcast. Obviously, he's been doing this for a while now.
Don't forget my podcast.
And he's very comfortable when he is talking to people, and he has talking points that he knows that he'll go to, and sometimes we lead him there, sometimes he takes us there. I do think that he's being, again, to use that word again, transparent enough about what his job entails and the reality that I like who we have, but we always have to look to get better. And it's tough when you have a lineup like, and there's so many questions that you want to ask, so you have to kind of prioritize them, because you also have to ask questions that aren't just all about the transactions, right? I'm trying to build relationship the same way the morning show has done, and Carmichael Davis is the best at that. So you only going to have about 2 or 3, because you could have gone Keon, right? Obviously the backup 4 situation, but you had to essentially prioritize. But now that the conversation is over, I do think going back to that prioritization and how Scott Perry did look at this, I mean, the Keon thing is one thing, and we've spoken about that, but for the 4 position, is this a situation where one of these guys is going to exceed expectations, right? Is Dario Saric going to exceed expectations? Is Isaac Jones going to exceed expectations? Is that why they weren't pressed to go get a 4? But I didn't even bring up Westbrook. The whole Westbrook thing that went back and forth.
Yeah, which you said that yesterday when we were on remote. Just what happened to that?
There's too many questions to ask. And why they felt, after talking to Malik Monk, and he still feels like he's a playmaker, even if he's more comfortable at the 2, why they were so, I know why they were so enamored with Russell Westbrook, but to what end they thought that he would take them, right? Or how much better he was going to make this team, and what they were or weren't able to move on from. But yeah, as far as the 4 position and the size, that's how this goes back to Keegan Murray for me. Because I know Keegan isn't a hyper athlete. I do think he might be a little underrated as an athlete, but it is, when you look around the league and you look around all these other teams and what they have and what they bring to the table, the Kings still don't really have. Keon is just a little smaller, right, than that prototype. Keegan is the closest to that prototype, and Keegan is more so in the honestly started off Keegan more so being in the maybe you could be a star. It's now turned into, hey, at least we have a really good 3-and-D guy, even though I still think he's more than that. When I look at Keegan, I think he still has more potential. So let's do it like this, Kyle. You got when we were talking about this yesterday, your centers, your every 3-and-D guys, how OKC has 12 of them. I was joking with Keon about that. And then you have your stars, right? And then you have the guys that nobody wants to pay anymore, like Cam Thomas and the undersized 2s, the bucket getters, the bag workers, if you will. I'm trying to figure out who else is in a Keegan situation where he's still young enough that this thing could expand, but he's more than a 3-and-D guy. Is it just Jaden McDaniels? Is that Keegan?
I'd say right now, but
because Jaden McDaniels is better offensively than he was a couple years ago. Because Keegan is more offensively gifted. I'm not calling Keegan Nickeil Alexander-Walker. I'm not calling Keegan Derrick Jones Jr. That doesn't feel right.
All right, can I give you my example? And we have to go back a little bit because this person now has taken a leap, we would say. But this is what I think the best case scenario for Keegan's career at this point is. Do you remember OG Anunoby on the Raptors, where he was a starting 3? They had Siakam. The team was sometimes in the playoffs, sometimes not, and then they drafted Scotty Barnes, and he was getting kind of tweened a little bit. And then Anunoby goes to the Knicks. The Knicks say, we're going to put you at essentially the 3 because Josh Hart is the 4 on that team. You're going to be a 3. You're going to be a 3-and-D guy, and we're going to let you play make from the wing. And again, OG Anunoby is not an all-star, but he's a $40 million a year player. So I kind of think that's the best case scenario for Keegan's career at this point is OG Anunoby on the Knicks. I think is what the ceiling kind of is for Keegan if they, as he said, remove the, what was the phrasing exactly? Oh, remove the strings
attached.
If the strings aren't attached anymore and Keegan gets that runway. And of course, they would have to have a star point guard like Brunson and a star center like Randall or now Towns. But I think kind of OG Anunoby on the Knicks is kind of the best case scenario for what Keegan's prime looks like.
Yeah, and I do think I have a buddy who runs a spot in downtown, my guy Jose. We've referenced him on the show before. From the East Coast, he's a Knicks fan. Go check out Legend Has It. They just celebrated their first year in downtown Sacramento, and it's a great time out there. But he texts me time and time again saying, because he's a Knicks fan but lives out here in Sacramento, he says, Keegan's got to be OG. Keegan just has to be OG. That's the line. Because and maybe they have a bunch of these guys, right? Because that's OG. That's also, I would say, Mikal Bridges. They're more than they're. You know what it is? Remember my medium plus steak? They're like medium plus 3-and-D guys. They're 3-and-D guys, but they got a little boogie to them. They're not going to be your number one option, but they're also not Nickeil Alexander-Walker. And I think that's and I think OG and Mikal Bridges, I would put them above Jaden McDaniels offensively. Slightly, but Jaden could still improve. But these are guys that are your medium plus 3-and-D guys. They're 3-and-D at their core, but you're still waiting to see, you got something to you. I think that's where Trey Murphy just approached versus a Herb Jones, who is your basic medium 3-and-D guy.
Which, if you go back through some recent champions, this is Wiggins on the Warriors. This is Porter Jr. on the Nuggets.
Medium plus.
Yeah, I don't know if Boston really had one of those guys, but that's
Derek White.
That's more of a combo guard. But anyways, the point is that it's a number 3, but like you said, they got a little boogie to them. If they need to, they can be a number 1 in spurts.
Yeah. So I think that's where, after all that, talking about the Knicks and Karl Anthony Towns, after all that, I think we've landed on what Keegan needs to be, a medium plus, a 3-and-D plus guy. That's what Keegan can be. And that person gets paid a lot. We know that. All right, on the other side, we keep the conversation going. Look, we made it. We made it 2.5 hours, but it's time for some Kaminga talk. Don't move. More Allen Stiles coming up.
I love a day on the water with friends, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis sometimes holds me back. Now I'm all in with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi. Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy.
Teaching music is my passion, but my active psoriatic arthritis can limit me at times. Now I'm treating my joint symptoms with Skyrizi.
With Skyrizi, most people with plaque psoriasis saw 90% clearer skin at 4 months.
Or if you are an adult with active psoriatic arthritis, Skyrizi helps you move with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
There's nothing like clearer skin.
There's nothing like better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi. Visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZZI to learn more.
Hi, Sacramento. It's the No Surprise guys at Bell Brothers Plumbing. Need a water heater or plumbing repair? Call Bell Brothers. Clogged drain? We'll clear it for $67. Plus a free camera inspection. A $250 value. We're fast, on time, and the price we quote is the price you pay. No surprises. Plus, we'll check your plumbing for free. Call Bell Brothers or book at thenosurpriseguys.com.
When shopping for a new car, what do you want? A great selection? A low monthly payment? More for your trade? At Northern California's best Honda dealer, Stockton Honda, you get it all. Model year-end savings are going on now. Drive away in your favorite Honda. It's savings you just can't say no to. Come in today or go to StocktonHonda.com.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Based on the results of the study, recognized on June 18, 2025, USA Today's list of California's top car dealers 2025.
It's championship night at Stockton 99 Speedway. Saturday, October 11th. Pro League models, mini stocks, legends, pure stocks, and mini modifieds in an all-out war for the crown. Kids 10 and under are always free. Grab your crew and hit Stockton99.com for tickets and info. Then be there when the dust settles and legends are made.
Morning, Zoe. Got donuts.
Jeff Bridges, why are you still living above our garage?
Well, I dig the mattress, and I want to be in a T-Mobile commercial like you. Teach me, Saldana.
Oh, no, I'm not really prepared. I couldn't possibly. At T-Mobile, get the new iPhone 17 Pro on them. It's designed to be the most powerful iPhone yet and has the ultimate pro camera system.
Wow, impressive. Let me try. T-Mobile is the best place to get iPhone 17 Pro because they've got the best network.
Nice, Jeffrey.
You heard them. T-Mobile is the best place to get the new iPhone 17 Pro on us with eligible trade-in in any condition.
So, what are we having for lunch?
Dude, my work here is done.
24 monthly bill credits on experience beyond for well-qualified customers plus tax and $35 device connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off earlier. Cancel. Finance agreement iPhone 17 Pro 256 gigs, $1,099.99 and new line minimum $100 plus a month plan with auto pay plus taxes and fees required. Best mobile network in the U.S. based on analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence data 1H2025. Visit T-Mobile.com.
It's Laramie the Golden Retriever with Vince Bloom the big guy.
The weather's getting cooler, but at Folsom Lake Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram, the deals are hotter than ever.
How do you mean, Vince?
It's the Drive Into Fall event, and prices are falling like leaves on every Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram in stock. Listen.
During the Drive Into Fall event at Folsom Lake Dodge, save over $6,500 net savings off MSRP on a new 2025 Jeep Wrangler 2-door Sport. That's over 17% off.
And I've got 5 at this hot deal.
Or rustle up over $10,000 off a new 2025 Jeep Grand Cherokee Limited. Over 19% off.
The Drive Into Fall at Folsom Lake Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram. Even Laramie knows now is the time for a deal. Right, Laramie?
At Folsom Lake Dodge.
In the Folsom Auto Mall and online at FolsomLakeDodge.com.
Wrangler includes $44.85 dealer discount plus $2,000 in national retail bonus cash. VIN SE 658348. Grand Cherokee includes $45.25 dealer discount plus $5,500 in national retail loyalty and select inventory bonus cash. VINs S 8667701, 629,387, 669458. See dealer for details. Expires 9/30/25.
Allen Stiles. Watch the show on youtube.com/SacktownSports1140.
Or listen on the Sacktown Sports app.
Well, Kyle is all excited. The Padres just took the lead. And you know what? With my World Series pick every year being the Phillies, every year that the Giants aren't in it, being the Phillies, I looked at the bracket. Really don't want the Padres to beat the Cubs. I really don't, because the only team the Padres can't beat is the Dodgers. So I feel like if they get to, and the Phillies have been choke artists. So I think if the Phillies and Padres meet up, I don't like that for Philly.
I mean, Philly beat the Padres the last time.
Then who'd they lose to after that?
Philly lost to Houston in the World Series. 2020, the year that the guy threw the no-hitter in the World Series.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
So,
but they still, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look, the Padres are going to find a way to lose this somehow. Whether it's the Phillies or the Dodgers or the Brewers, they're going to find a way to mess this up. But I understand your sentiment is that the Brewers are, you could beat the Brewers.
Yeah, come on.
No one's really scared of the Brewers.
Come on, Christian Yelich. What do we do?
Jackson Churio.
No, there's no problem.
Yeah, I mean, you're just making the point no one's scared of the Brewers, but you're scared of the Padres.
That's right. All right, we have this Kaminga stuff that we wanted to break down, and Kyle was following everything a little bit easier than I was, being out there at Golden One in Doco. Felt so good to be back at Doco, by the way. I saw, the security guard that we normally pass by for games. It was nice seeing him. You're just so happy to see the season coming around the corner. And by the way, I saw the text line, give a shout out to the text line all the time. This was from the 775 in Nevada, and in our new and improved text line. So you got time it was sent, just a lot more detail here. So I love the new detail, being able to read KHTK homers. This is going to be the same trash team. That's from the 775.
You guys also.
It's good to be back, Kyle. It is good to be back with the text line getting called a homer once again. And I'll admit, I'm telling y'all, I've been optimistic Allen being in the building yesterday for media day. I don't know how they're going to do it, but 34.5. Now, granted, think about it, though. You could bet the over, and they're still not good. That's how bad they're slated to be. So me and the 775 could be right. Same trash team. Yeah, but they won 35 games.
In order to get the 8 seed in the play-in, so to host a play-in game, or to play the 8-7, which guarantees you're going to get at least one at home.
Right.
To get the 8 seed, you had to get to 46 last year.
That's insane.
The gap between the over-under and the 8 seed is 11 games.
I don't think saying that the Kings are going to win more than 34.5 games is me being a homer, because that's such a low win total. It's just embarrassing.
I guess the counterpoint, though, is that somebody's going to have to lose those games.
That's a crazy statement.
Is it going to be the Blazers? Is it going to be the Pelicans? Is it going to be the Suns?
Yeah.
Who's going to be someone's got to finish third or third to last in the Western Conference.
Yeah. So, hey, if that makes me a homer, then maybe on this day, right after media day, sure. But I'm not sitting here saying the Kings are going to be in the playoffs like years past. I just think that they're going to win more than 34.5 games.
Also,
that's it.
Text line, you better be careful. We can add contact information now for you guys, and we can add notes here on this fun new text line. So let's just copy this address and say KHTK homers.
Yeah, the KHTK haterade. That's what it is. 916-339-1140 if you want to be a part of our new and improved text line. And also the call line. Haven't heard from y'all in a while. And, of course, shout out to the Sack Chat. Okay, so this is what's going on with Jonathan Kaminga. And look, everything keeps changing. And now there's 48 hours for when he has to sign his qualifying offer. And Kyle, you mentioned the Warriors could buy him out of the no trade clause. So then it would be a qualifying offer or a contract,
it'd be a one-year
contract
deal.
with no trade clause. But he would still, that would put him at 15 mil? So 1 year, 15 mil.
I genuinely don't know. I mean, this is kind of more of a philosophical question. Like, how much is a no trade clause worth to you?
Right.
It's probably different for everyone.
But again, if you don't get that number high enough, basically that's the Warriors trying to leave with something. Because if it's only 16 mil, then you're really just saying, hey, we just didn't want to lose him for literally nothing.
Well, they wanted to keep the slot value available in case they make a move at the deadline, which is also a leverage play for Kaminga, right? Because if it's a one-year deal, then he could say, let's say it's Trey Murphy, because that's the name the Warriors seem obsessed with. Kaminga could say, hey, Pelicans, I'm not going to sign a long-term extension with you. Do you still want to make the trade?
Right.
But at the very least, it's different than the no trade clause where he's like, I'm not going to the Pelicans. End of conversation. I have no trade clause.
Yeah,
so
it could get you in the door, right? And the Pelicans, they would add somebody. I mean, the Pelicans are just a complete nightmare. And I know covering the Kings, it's kind of pot calling the kettle, but yeah, it's a lot of different philosophies and I guess takes on where this could go. Kaminga, we talked about how media day, the amount of hope that was out there in Sacramento and Doco yesterday. It was a little bit different in the Bay. Kaminga did not travel to San Francisco over the weekend. League sources say he said he wasn't going to attend media day, and he didn't. Contract negotiations between Kaminga and Golden State remain stalled. The Warriors have kept their offer packages the same, but Kaminga's push is reportedly for a player option, something the Warriors haven't included. The qualifying offer deadline looms, which is tomorrow night, meaning Kaminga must either accept the one-year qualifying offer or agree to a longer-term deal. Golden State has slowed down parts of its roster business until Kaminga's status is resolved. Meanwhile, the Warriors have moved forward with other roster commitments. Al Horford, come on down. DeAnthony Melton, come on down. GP2, come on down. Will Richard, come on down. But those deals are tied are still tied to the Kaminga solution.
Well, two of those guys come down.
Yeah.
Because Richard and Peyton were at Media Day, but not Al Horford
and that
or
was
Melton.
what was so weird because of the specific reading of it. When it came out, it was Al Horford has agreed to a deal. It almost sounded like they just wanted to report something.
Yeah.
Hey, he agreed to the deal that we haven't been able to offer him yet.
Yeah, it got to the point where they were like, Shams, just send the tweet. Just do it.
But just tweak it a little bit because officially it's not fully there yet.
The tweet was super misleading, but if you read the Shams story on ESPN, it's like they've agreed to a foundation, but they can't sign the deal until Kaminga. And I read the story and I was like, oh, so they aren't going to show up to Media Day.
Right.
Which was the thing that we were saying all summer was going to happen, and then it actually did happen. There were so many funny moments from Warriors Media Day. Someone was like, this is the most bizarre Media Day I've ever been to.
Did you see the pic? It was Jimmy Butler. It's just so funny because there's all this Kaminga stuff, but then on the other side, they're just saying, no, look over here. Jimmy Butler and Buddy Hield are still best friends. And Jimmy Butler was holding a picture of Buddy Hield. And it's just, yeah, you guys, vibes are great, man. And there's a picture of Steph and Draymond, obviously the longest tenured players that are still kind of going together. And look over here, everything's good. Meanwhile, it's not all good.
No,
it's not.
It's a complete disaster. Warriors PR told players specifically you can't comment on those guys, so they had all sorts of funny ways to no comment on Horford and Peyton. From was it Guy Santos was like, I'm not allowed to comment on players that aren't on the roster, to Jimmy Butler being like, who's that?
As far as the Kings being involved, do you think it comes down to? I want to ask the question. Do the Warriors regret this just from this season? Because obviously the years past, they could have avoided this. But is it as simple as if he signs the 2-year deal, do they regret not working with the Kings, versus if he signs a qualifying offer, do they regret working with the Kings? And I think the median is, if he gets that player option, would they have rather just traded him for Malik Monk and a first-round pick? So this whole thing comes to a close at latest Wednesday night, and I'm pretty sure they'll create a new reason for how this thing can continue into. I just want it to never stop, actually. Just go into the season, have him, hey, he's allowed to be in the tunnel, but he can't come on the court. I want all this to happen at this point. Just the most bizarre things to happen to the Warriors. All right, Kyle created a list when I said, if the Giants bring back Bruce Bochy, is that a good look? And when is the last time a team spun the block on their ex and got that old thing back? Could it work out for San Francisco? Let's discuss. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
The deals are on now at the model year-end sales event at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Looking to own or lease? Save on year-end models and drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Go to FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Your one-stop Honda shop.
Hello, Sacramento. I'm Emran Pilati, owner of True Sports Cards and Collectible Store here in Rockland, California, and the host of the True Sports Cards Show that airs right here on Sacktown Sports 1140 every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m., where we discuss the latest trends, hottest products, and deliver exclusive interviews with other industry leaders. And don't forget to visit our shop, True Sports Cards, at 6661 Stanford Ranch Road in Rockland, and see what we have for all your sports card and memorabilia needs.
At Valley Strong Credit Union, we know that local businesses are the backbone of the Central Valley, investing in our neighborhoods, boosting the economy, making the Valley stronger. But when it comes to their finances, where can they turn? A big bank that just sees another number? That's not good enough. Valley businesses deserve Valley support for payroll, credit, cash flow, and everything in between. Valley Business is Valley Strong. Learn how our cash management services can support your business at valleystrong.com.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So I'm opening my own coffee shop.
I smell a caffeinated catastrophe.
And I needed menu boards and banners printed.
What you really needed was a reality check.
Staples really came through. They printed menus and signs, even flyers in time for my grand opening.
And that's when the other shoe dropped.
Not quite. I got $125 off my custom print order.
Cha-ching! For your business printing, Staples.
That was easy.
Now save up to $125 on custom print orders. Valid in-store and online. Ends 11/1. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Hey everyone, it's Kyle Draper from Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. If you're wondering whether or not you can afford a Mercedes-Benz car, I'm here to tell you you can. Mercedes-Benz of Stockton has affordable vehicles which fit nearly any budget. And right now, they're running special deals, including low rates on select new vehicles and leases, including, get this, complimentary 3-year prepaid maintenance on select models. You can't beat that. And they also have you covered with customer cash on their eSprinter vans. And if you're a business owner, you gotta listen to this. You may qualify for thousands of dollars in tax deductions. So go see my good friends at Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. They are family owned and they offer fast and reliable sales and service. Mercedes-Benz of Stockton is just a short drive right off I-5 or anytime online at mbfstockton.com. And while you're there, tell them Drape sent you.
When I was a kid, I remember my dad, a lineman, leaving in the middle of the night. Families were depending on him to get their power back on to keep them safe and warm. Watching him taught me that this work isn't just about wires and circuits. It's about people and the trust they place in us when the lights go out. That's why I started Maverick Electric Heating and Air, to carry on that same promise of showing up, doing it right, and protecting families when they need us most. Visit callamaverick.com.
Carmichael Dave here for my friends at American Energy Heating and Air. Yes, I always tell you they are a family-owned operation, been in business since 81, A-plus Better Business Bureau, but it is hot. We are in those Sacramento hot months. I want to focus on them being your second opinion partner. What does that mean? Maybe you've got somebody you're working with or you've worked with in the past in the HVAC world. Guess what? They want to give you a second opinion. How much does it cost? Nothing. Nothing. You call them up and say, hey, can I get a second opinion on this deal? They come out and they either say, wow, that's a great deal, you should feel better about that, or they say, we can beat that price. And usually they're going to beat it by a lot. Guess what? You just saved money and it didn't cost you anything to find out. It's a no-lose situation. Go with a trusted company. American Energy, 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com. Jingle Singers, take it away.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Listen to the 49ers Red Zone Report daily, brought to you by Mountain Mike's Pizza, the official pizza of the 49ers. Mountain Mike's Pizza, pizza the way it ought to be.
Allen Stiles
You can join the show by texting 916-339-1140.
on Sacktown Sports.
It's time to get that old thing back. And speaking of, I mean, this is more so about the Giants, but I mean, the Kings, the Kings are weird because they get that old thing back, but they get the old thing back in different ways, right? Because Doug Christie got that old thing back, but he was a player. Now he's a coach. Bobby Jackson, player, now assistant coach. Right? Scott Perry was with the Kings briefly. Now he's back with the Kings. So if anybody understands what the Giants might be trying to do, it's the Sacramento Kings. They love bringing back their, and not even, I guess exes aren't the right term, because I don't know if it's the same, hey, this person left as a player, now has come back as a player. This person left as a coach, but now has come back as a coach. So I guess it's a little different.
Yeah, I mean, like Vlade Divac's going from player to GM and Doug going from player to GM. I guess Doug was an assistant coach too, so I guess it was kind of a gradual process.
Yeah.
But Yeah, I think what you're talking about with the Giants is different, where we're just running back the same thing we had 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Which even Buster Posey from player to general manager is different than we're just bringing back Bruce Bochy.
Yeah, Buster as well. Real quick, Kings looks like they're about to wrap up their practice, so I'm sure our fearless editors will have some sound bites for you, and you'll probably have that in the Drive Guys with Kyle Draper and, of course, Whitey Gleason. So, Bob Melvin fired by the Giants after getting an extension in May. Bruce Bochy is out with the Rangers after 3 years, including a championship. Just a weird tenure out there for Bruce Bochy. So Bruce Bochy is on record, okay, and he said that he would always have a conversation with Buster Posey. They have a relationship. They did commercials together. They did those commercials together when Bruce Bochy was talking about tacos, okay? So obviously they have a relationship, and that prompted me to want to discuss teams that have got that old thing back and where it has worked and where it has not worked. So, Kyle, you've created this list, so I'm going to let you take the lead here. And I'm looking for anybody that you think is worth discussing in a positive light, in a very positive light, or a very negative light.
Okay. So I guess we'll start with basketball.
Okay.
Since basketball seems to be the easiest one to do this for. I mentioned way early on in the show, you had, after the Lakers lost the 2004 finals and traded Shaq, Phil Jackson just quit and then came back a year later and was like, oh, I'm fine now. I'm going to coach Kobe. And it took them a while to turn the ship, or it took a while and 2 trade requests to turn the team around. But eventually they traded for Pau Gasol and won a couple titles. So Phil Jackson with the Lakers, I guess, is kind of the best, but he was only gone for a year. So, is it really running that old thing back, or did he take a gap year?
No, they just took a break.
Okay.
Yeah.
The other one that is actually really recent is Rick Carlisle with the Pacers. Obviously, he coached them during the Malice at the Palace and all those years, went to Dallas.
Yeah.
They just went to the finals this year in Indiana, so I guess running that old thing back with Rick Carlisle seemed to work out okay for the Pacers.
It did. Now we'll see what happens next with no Tyrese, but I would say that worked.
All right. The only other ones I could find for basketball was Mike Brown with the Cavs in 2014, where he went back for a random season and they went like 33-49 and he got fired and they hired David Blatt, which was super weird, but they knew LeBron was coming back and LeBron didn't want Mike Brown as the coach.
Right.
So they got rid of Mike again, and just was whatever. The only other one I found, and this one's weird, was Flip Saunders going back to the Timberwolves, was the coach of their best era, but he only made it 1 year and then he passed away. So I don't feel like that really counts.
Yeah.
So basketball, not a ton, but
Rick Carlisle.
Rick Carlisle is kind of the
That's
one
the
you can
one.
hold up.
Yeah.
All right, baseball. Alex Cora with the Red Sox. Remember that? He got suspended for a year for the trash can thing, and then the Red Sox were like, actually, we're just going to hire him again.
But that's only a year, though.
Yeah, but I feel like that kind of counts.
Okay, what else?
Because remember, they were like, Alex Cora has been suspended and fired.
Right.
And then a year passed, and they were like, actually, we're just going to hire him again.
You know what's the best? If you want to know whether or not your career is over or how bad of a spot you're in, if they use the word suspended or indefinitely, that always sounds really scary, but it actually means, yeah, we can end this whenever we want, right? So whenever you hear indefinitely, you always get oh my goodness, it just happened in another sport too. But you hear that word indefinitely and you're thinking, man, this dude's really in trouble. And then they said, oh, no, you know what? We're good here. Because I believe was that either Ja or Draymond, it was indefinitely. And then they said, yeah, we've decided that he's different now.
Yeah.
Now he can come back.
Draymond went to 96 hours of therapy.
and did Amazon Prime on yoga.
Yeah. And now all of a sudden we're good again.
Yeah.
So Baseball's got a lot of bad ones. Remember Tony La Russa?
A nightmare.
34 years later, running it back with the White Sox.
That was a complete disaster.
Probably destroyed the White Sox organization. It wasn't going great.
Tim Anderson got punched during that time.
Yeah, and that was the end of Tim Anderson. Remember Joe Madden going back to the Angels?
Yeah.
Everyone was like, "Oh, Joe Madden."
He was a genius, man. He was those glasses. I'm telling you, I'm a father of two now. I'm gonna get some glasses. Everybody looks at you different.
Glasses can change the way people think about you.
Glasses will get you paid.
I also saw today it was announced that Ron Washington wasn't coming back to the Angels.
I saw that.
Only in baseball is it like this 74-year-old had heart surgery and now can't be the manager.
Well, and he said he wanted to come back, and they said no, thank you.
Yeah. So, anyways. I bring that up to say that since they fired Joe Madden, I think they're on their fourth different manager now. The Cubs are on their second manager. Just didn't work out well for anyone, I feel like.
Yeah.
I had tried to find any good baseball example for you. And the only one I could find was 30 years ago, the Braves fired and rehired Bobby Cox. It's the only good example I could find for you.
How long was the break?
Like 6 years. Kind of just like Bochy.
Okay.
But... again, his first stint in Atlanta ended in 1984.
Right.
So a long time ago to find a good example.
I'm telling you, man, it's good in theory. And look, there's a first time for everything. But I'm telling you.
It's not it.
Yeah, Bruce Bochy, good in theory. But I kind of want to just protect the memories. I really do. And the legacy.
So lastly, we have football. You mentioned John Gruden.
Disaster class.
The Raiders actually had two. I didn't even know this one. Again, football doesn't have a ton of examples. There's like Joe Gibbs going back to Washington or Chuck Knox going back to the Rams. But this one is funny is that the Raiders hired Art Shell in 2006 to coach the team. I never knew that. Art Shell had been out of coaching for 10 years, and Al Davis brought him back to coach the Raiders to 1-2-14 season, which I think led to them drafting Jamarcus Russell. But I was shocked when I saw that. I was like, he didn't coach anywhere for 7 years. He was like an offensive line coach, and then Al Davis, in his senile old age, was like, I'm going to run it back with Art Shell.
Yeah, just run it back.
And it was a disaster. I don't think Bochy will be that bad, if that helps.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to do it. We've heard Tony Vitello from University of Tennessee. That was around. There's a whole list of different coaches here, and I looked that up. I think it was the 70s the last time somebody made a jump from college straight to being a manager of a Major League Baseball team. So Skip Schumacher is the name you keep hearing for the Giants, but running that old thing back works in a couple different sports, not necessarily in baseball. Malik Monk is working to be a part of that starting lineup. One of my favorite conversations from yesterday, and we have it in its entirety to kick off the 1 o'clock hour. Speaking with the one and the only Malik, King in Arabic. Don't move. More Allen Stiles coming up.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Ever wonder why Big Wireless wants you on an unlimited plan? They probably want you to cover the cost of those 20-somethings using all that data every month. But most people 50 and up like me only use 12 gigs or less. Don't get bamboozled by Big Wireless. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Our plans start at just $20, and we use the same towers as the big guys. Join the millions who choose something better, because if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Just announced, Stockton Honda has been named #1 of California's best car dealers in 2025 by USA Today and Statista. This prestigious award is based on thousands of customer reviews and recommendations, ranking dealerships for service, value, and satisfaction. Out of hundreds evaluated, Stockton Honda is proud to be #1, recognized for all-around excellence and commitment to our customers. Visit Stockton Honda, where reputation meets the road.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? Well, they're not hard to find when you go to ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. People who are actively looking for jobs like yours. So it's easy to find the right person fast. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Kohl's Friends and Family Sale is so good, you'll want to put your phone on Do Not Disturb. Yep, the only thing you're picking up is deals. Now through Sunday, take an extra 20% off all your fall favorites. From soft throws to slow cookers, warm flannels to cozy cardigans. Plus, earn $10 Kohl's cash for every $50 spent. So go ahead, let those notifications wait, because these prices won't. Select styles, some exclusions apply. 20% offer ends October 5th. See store or Kohls.com for details.
For over 90 years, Hagen Oaks has partnered with the biggest brands in golf to bring cutting-edge technology to your game. Our one-of-a-kind total game fitting offers a level of experience and precision that is unmatched. From driver to putter, footwear to golf balls, our TrackMan-powered performance studios, 3D footwear scanner, and Ping's Ballnamic ball fitting kiosk ensure every piece of your gear is tailored to your swing. Trust the experts at the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Total game fitting starts here.
The Sacktown Sports 49ers Report is brought to you by Kia of Vacaville, located beside the Vacaville outlets. Niners suffer their first loss of the season, 26-21 to Jacksonville. Brock Purdy returned after missing 2 games and threw for over 300 yards and a pair of touchdowns, but also had a couple of interceptions. Travis Etienne rushed for 124 yards and a TD for Jacksonville. Quick turnaround for SF as they travel to LA on Thursday for a big divisional matchup. Catch the game this Thursday beginning at 4 o'clock right here on Sacktown Sports 1140.
Football season is here at Kia of Vacaville. You can score big in a new 2025 Kia Niro LX with up to 53 MPG combined at Kia of Vacaville. Perfect for road trips, tailgates, and cruising to Levi Stadium in style and comfort. But don't wait. Inventory is limited at Kia of Vacaville, and these deals won't last long. Visit KiaVacaville.com or stop by right next to the Vacaville outlets for friendly service, easy shopping, and unbeatable value. All in one stop. Kia of Vacaville, where the adventure begins.
With 25 award-winning years in Northern California, Ashton & Price is your local injury law firm. Pro attorney tip: if a firm presents as local but they're in LA, red flag. If your first consultation is not with a lawyer, big red flag. At Ashton & Price, your first consult is with a local attorney, and if serious injury prevents travel, a lawyer will come to you. Still not enough? George Washington's my uncle. At Ashton & Price, no red flags, just red, white, and blue.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
Your local sports leader in the 916.
KHD1 Sacramento. KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios. Sacktown Sports 1140.
You're home for Kings Talk and so much more.
Live and local.
Allen Stiles on Sacktown Sports.
As promised, the one, the only Malik Monk here to kick off the 1 o'clock segment. Also, don't move. At 1:30, Brendan Nunez will join us fresh from day 1 of training camp. Brendan's got a lowdown on how things went, the energy. I saw they were running liners out there. So Brendan's going to join us at 1:30, but we have Malik Monk's interview right now. So here we go.
The one, the only Malik Monk. Malik, thank you so much for joining us as always, my man.
Oh, yeah, definitely, man. Thanks for having me.
So let's go here. I told Keon the same thing. I follow y'all on social media, whether you're working out, you just enjoying yourself. So I'm gonna keep it easy, keep it simple, real quick. How's the golf game?
It's amazing. Man.
Okay,
came a long way.
All right. What's working for you right now, and what are you struggling with?
Everything is working right now. To be honest.
Okay.
But I can't hit my driver.
Okay.
I got a mini driver right now, which you can swing like a 3-wood.
Okay.
So it's kind of easier,
but it is a driver.
But it is a
because
driver.
you golf with people that don't take the driver out the bag. I can't look at you the same way.
Yeah.
I'd rather shank it. You know what I mean? Than not take the driver out the bag.
But if you hit 220 down the middle,
okay, hey,
it'd be all right.
I hear you. I hear you. Say less. That's a humble brag right there from Malik Monk. So Malik, the difference between kind of seasons past and this one, so much has happened, and it's funny because I was just thinking about Media Day last season and how things have just completely changed a little bit. Okay, just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
How has everything been for you from literally that moment, us sitting at the same table, to right now? How have things changed for you?
Everything changed, man. I think I had 3-4 different roles last year. So yeah, that was a big change. Then Mike getting fired.
Yeah.
Fox leaving. Doug getting the head coaching job. Wes Monty leaving.
Yeah.
Scott coming in. We're getting a whole new front office. It's been crazy.
Yeah.
But it's the business side of basketball.
Right.
But you gotta love it. You gotta love it. And all those guys that came here, I feel like they're here for the right reason, and they want to win. They want to move this organization in the right place. So
yeah,
I'm happy about it.
Specifically this offseason with some of the stuff that has kind of floated around, how has that been for you in your career? Has this offseason been any different than seasons past? Last season you were signing the contract, the extension. This season your name, as others have, and like you said, the business has been floated around. How has that been, and how has this offseason been different than others?
It's been different because of the trade talks. But my agent's so amazing. He called me the day before the trade deadline started, where the trade started. He said, if something happens, it's going to happen today. If not, don't listen to anything else.
Okay.
And did nothing happen that day, and I've been ignoring everything else since then. So,
right.
He never lied to me. I don't think he will lie to me. So yeah, I've been cool with that aspect. Everywhere I go, I'll be hearing stuff from people I don't even know.
Right.
Because I don't be into it like that. But some stuff I'll be seeing. Of course, you can't miss everything. But yeah, it's been fine for me.
Yeah. But as far as and kind of what you alluded to, the new regime coming in and Scott Perry, you've had some good discussions with that crew so far.
Oh yeah. Scott called me in the day before as well to let me know. He's just being a professional.
Yeah.
I don't think a GM has ever did that. Call me in before to let me know what's going on, and if something happens, he'll call me before it happens.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's him being professional, and I thank Scott for being that.
Yeah.
Doing that because, like I say, a lot of GMs wouldn't do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Talking to Malik Monk. Malik, I want to clear something up. Okay. So towards the end, it might have been the exit pressers, the exit interviews, all this conversation about point guard, needing a point guard. The Kings go out, they get Dennis Schroeder, and everybody said, we need a point guard, we need a point guard. I watch a lot of Kings basketball. It's part of my job. But I just told you, got 2 kids now. I got to pay the bills somehow.
Yeah, you got to.
Do you feel like things maybe have shifted a little too much? Because I'm going to tell you right now, I felt like the not having a point guard thing became a little overblown, right? And I think it turned into, Malik maybe quote unquote can't play point guard, when I didn't hear it like that when you said it.
Yeah.
The way I heard it was, I think Malik is more comfortable at the 2, but let's not act like there's nobody else to handle the ball on this team.
Exactly.
And that's how I always felt, and I had to tell you that.
Yeah, I appreciate that. That's
okay.
how it is, man. That's how it is. because obviously I didn't come in the NBA as a point guard. I got thrown into the fire.
Yeah.
without knowing.
Right.
So you can't switch your whole mindset. So let me start with this. Came off the bench.
Right.
Starting.
Yeah.
2 guard. Fox leave. Switch to the point guard.
Right.
That's 3 different mindsets in 3 months of the season.
Yeah.
It's impossible.
Right.
To be a point guard in the NBA and not have damn near your whole life or a whole summer to prepare for it. You're not going to be successful.
Right.
But I wasn't complaining.
Yeah.
I'm not going to complain.
Sure.
I'm a basketball player. I love playing this game. I love the fans here. I love Sac. It's just me being a competitor.
Right.
I want to be great at it. I've been working on it. And Dennis goes down. Pray not. He doesn't, obviously. I'll be ready.
Right. And you do think that in moments you'll play the point guard position for this team.
Of course.
Okay.
Of course.
I already know this. This is for everybody else.
Yeah, of course.
I did have one more for you, Malik. So 2024, you win, and everyone says, "Oh, in Sacramento, they don't talk about this, and you don't get recognized." We told you how you should have won 6 man a couple years ago. We had that conversation.
1,000%.
Okay. GQ, NBA's most stylish man of the year in 2024. You did that in Sacramento. The streets are saying it's not possible, Malik.
It's crazy.
Are there any spots in Sacramento where you shop, right? Or is everything, is everything online? What's going on here? You won GQ, man, out of Sacramento. Are there some good spots that maybe people are sleeping on to keep your swag right?
It's a few spots out here that you can get some nice shirts, some nice pants. But overall, we play in a lot of nice cities.
Yeah, I know. I hear you.
Play a lot of nice cities. I travel to a lot of nice places, man. So I'm blessed to buy a few things at the places I stop.
Okay, so you see, I got the SBs on.
Yeah, them nice.
Okay,
Them
I just had to get.
Not with Nike no more.
All right,
but I had those though.
Okay, look, we on the same page. One more before we get you out of here, Malik. It would not be a Malik Monk interview if we didn't ask you about being a 6-man versus starting. So I'm gonna keep it going for the 4th or 5th year.
I just got asked it over there.
The interview don't start or
Yeah,
end until you ask Malik Monk about being a 6-man or being in a starting role. Any thoughts on it that have changed? I know we've heard you speak about it before. Any thoughts on it going into this season that might be different?
My thoughts never change, man. Malik Monk always want to be a starter.
Yeah.
But whatever the team wants me to do, that's what he's going to do.
That's right.
And he's going to take it head on and be the best at that. So I'm a professional, man. I don't complain.
That's right. Malik Monk, thank you so much for
Appreciate
joining
you,
us
man.
as always. Look, I'll catch you on the course. You know, if I might be slicing
It's
right,
all
just
good,
keep
man.
just watch out. If
So I
I'm
got
on
another
the court.
fairway, man.
That's right. Malik Monk, thank you so much for joining us, man.
Appreciate
We'll talk
you,
to you again soon, man. All righty, that was great stuff from the one and
It's Malik Monk. And great stuff from Malik Monk as always. And I had to do it. You know, you didn't think I wasn't going to ask about the starting conversation because it's so funny that hasn't even been talked about. There's been so much about the trades and being in those talks and from staying in Sacramento and caring so much about wanting to be in Sacramento to immediately getting put in trade talks. And I think the biggest thing that I took away from it is the respect that these guys have for Scott Perry, because Malik said, I've never been pulled into a meeting before to be told that, hey, you're going to be in some trade talks and we don't know what's going to happen. Again, what's that word that I keep bringing up? Transparency. And that's how Scott Perry gets down. And Malik was just really appreciative of that. He said, hey, I'm either going to go. My agent said I'm going to go when free agency kicks off. And essentially he's talking about you know what's funny about that is clearly he's talking about the Dennis Schroeder situation, right?
That was what I had assumed.
Right. What he didn't say is whether or not his agent ever came back to him about the Kaminga stuff. So he says, hey, my agent said I'm either going to get traded when things kick off or it ain't going to happen. That didn't happen, but then a little bit later in the summer, all the Kaminga stuff gets going, and he did not say anything about that. Malik did. So I wonder how serious. I wonder if the agent knew, hey, and I don't, based on who else that agent represents or who he knows, the agent knew the Warriors are not taking that deal.
Also, I'm pretty sure his agent is his brother.
I thought so too. But then I thought,
But his brother is like a real agent.
Yeah, yes, I remember that as well. So the connection, again, they're only down the street as far as the Warriors are concerned. So I wonder, the fact that Malik didn't say anything about the Kaminga stuff, I wonder if the feeling was, yeah, the Warriors won't do it, right? And again, going back to, they're going to have to give up Buddy Hield, who's Jimmy Butler's best friend, or Moses Moody, who's one of the youngest guys on that 40-year-old lineup, right? And then they're going to bring in Malik Monk, and there were questions. Steve Kerr doesn't think anybody fits with Steph Curry, and you'd be moving on from Jonathan Kaminga, where they think that they're still getting Giannis and things of that nature. So I wonder if Malik not bringing up that part of it, and again, I might be reaching a little bit here, but is that him saying without saying that the Malik Monk first rounder conversation didn't actually get that far? Because they still had to give up another player, the Warriors did. It was a last-ditch effort maybe from the Kings, but maybe Malik's agent saying, look, man, I just don't think it's going to happen.
Well, I think he had that little line in the interview where he's like, I don't follow it like that, but I got people coming up to me and telling me about trade rumors.
Yeah.
That made me think that's more of the Kaminga stuff, is people saying like, oh, I heard they offered you for Kaminga kind of situation.
Right.
I don't think it ever got to a point where a trade was imminent.
Yes, and right, because how these reports came out, they almost came out after the fact. This is what was offered, and we sat there and said, well, the Warriors could always change their mind, but in reality, the Warriors had already decided we're not doing that. Now people are just getting the information as to what was the new offer. So Malik at the end of the day, Malik is saying the best chance for me to get moved was the first day of free agency. Once that didn't happen, that Kaminga stuff, whether his agent, maybe, I'm sure his agent said something, but it was nothing serious to the point where he thought, hey, this could happen again. So in Malik's mind, he hasn't been tripping off of the trade talks since the beginning of the offseason, which is kind of nuts.
So I'm trying to think back to when the Jonas Valanciunas trade happened, because I would say from when free agency opened until they moved Valanciunas for Saric to create the cap space, that was the window when it was probably most likely. I'm looking it up now, because it was either July 1st or July 2nd.
Yeah.
I know I was doing Dave's show when it happened. So, yeah, there you go, July 1st.
Mm-hmm.
So from the open of free agency at 3 p.m. on June 30th until the next morning when they traded Valanciunas for Saric, that was probably the most likely window of time that Malik was going to get moved, because they would have had to move someone to bring in Dennis Schroeder at the number that they brought him in at.
Yeah, and we've seen this happen before, a little bit of NFL talk as well. Just the Debo, I think it was Debo, and Debo said the same thing. My agent told me, right, and I think Malik even said in the interview, my agent's not going to lie to me. I trust my agent, obviously. But Debo was in a similar situation, a couple years ago, where Debo said, my agent said, if I don't get moved by this date, I'm not getting moved. And guess what? Debo, at that time, did not get moved. So, a lot of times these guys know more, obviously, than what's being reported. And we're getting these reports after the fact that the Warriors, could they change their mind? Yes. But we're getting this report because it's over now, right? They're standing deals, sure, but by the time we're getting these reports, the Warriors have been sitting on this, and most likely, and that goes to show, too, going back to all these trades, off the top of your head, when is the last time, and maybe it was Kevin Durant, but Kevin Durant's a weird one because he's Kevin Durant, but the last time the idea of a trade leaked, or Sam Amick reported it, or somebody like that reported it, and then it ended up happening, right? A wise man once told me, somebody in Sacramento media said, once it's getting talked about, that's how you know it's not going to happen.
So I'm thinking back, the one that I remember most fondly, and this is again a few years ago now, there's probably smaller trades, but I remember it leaked that James Harden wanted to go to the Sixers from Brooklyn and they were going to trade Ben Simmons. And then Woj went on ESPN for 5 days and was like, there are no trade talks between the 76ers and Nets over James Harden. And then it actually happened.
Yeah.
That's the one I can think of where it's like, we all knew they were trying to do James Harden for Ben Simmons. And then it actually happened.
Yeah, that's a good one.
But that's also, 3 years and 2 James Harden teams ago?
And again, I guess Kaminga's kind of in this situation because of the perceived player control. But again, the James Hardens, the Kevin Durant's, these are weird situations where these guys need a reset every 2 to 3 years, right? Deals where, and I know Kaminga wants out, but deals where the players aren't really a part of it, or they're not being, and I know Kaminga's been vocal, but Kaminga's still a weird one. It's still a little bit different. Like, to me, the Knicks-Timberwolves deal, nobody was talking about that. Some of these deals, or a lot of these deals, they happen because nobody's talking about them.
Michael Porter Jr. going to the Nets for Cam Johnson and a first.
Nobody was talking about that. So, and honestly, all of the moves that the Jazz had made, a lot of those moves, nobody saw coming either. All of the perceived moves didn't happen.
To your point, it was Donovan Mitchell go to the Knicks, Donovan Mitchell to the Knicks, and then he ends up on the Cavs. Jimmy Butler's going to the Suns, and now he's on the Warriors. Like, it was kind of, they had to come up with different options, which you were gone for a few weeks, but I had kind of, something clicked in my mind. It was something Siegel said right before you left, which was, if this deal is going to happen, it's going to be a 4 or 5 team deal where the Warriors are getting Trey Murphy or some power forward, and Monk's going to another place, and Kaminga's going to the Kings. It was going to be some complex deal.
Yeah, that came out a little bit later where it was decided. The Warriors had decided, I guess for lack of a better term, they did not want Malik Monk's services. That's what they were telling us. So if they were going to facilitate this thing, it was going to be pretty complex. And again, every time it gets more and more complex, there's just less of a chance of it happening. So, and that's not to say that Sam Amick or any of these writers, the reports are obviously real. It's just by the time they're getting them to give to us, the door most of the time has already closed. And that's why they're getting the reports, because it's the latest, I guess, news dump of, okay, here's an update on what happened, not really what's currently happening.
Which, as far as I remember, and someone on the text line can correct me if I'm wrong, all these stories were caveated that way, right? Amick was like, while it's very unlikely a deal is going to happen, talks have restarted. Slater was like, the Kings have this standing offer, but the Warriors have closed off trade talks for weeks. I felt like all these reporters were caveating it, but making the point that, hey, Sacramento is still interested. Golden State is still interested. Siegel reported even, too, after the Amick story last week, that it was like the Kings were the ones who engaged in the talks. It wasn't like the Warriors finally came back to the table. It was the Kings checking back in of like, hey, here's where we're at. Where are you guys?
We're still here.
We're still standing offer.
Yeah, we are still here.
Sounds like he's going to take the qualifying offer. You sure you want that?
So now Malik Monk has, I think, well, number one, after Media Day specifically and the bleep show that happened in the Bay, this is the squad, right? At least for now. I thought about having trade conversations with DeMar DeRozan. Then I thought, well, he really wasn't in any, right? That got shut down pretty quickly. So I decided to spend my time talking about dinners with DeMar, which he is. I tried to invite myself to dinners with DeMar as he's going to be going around the Sacramento area. Not sure I'm going to get the invite, but I had to try.
Journalistically, you had to try.
Maybe if he lets me pick a spot, right, I can end up going somewhere with him. But
there's some good spots that maybe people are sleeping on to keep your swag right.
That was me trying to talk to Malik Monk and not sound like an unk.
To keep your swag right.
It did not work.
To keep your swag right.
And I don't even say swag anymore.
It's a terrible time for a voice crack.
To keep your swag right. Swag right.
It was the way it came off. It made, it worked at the time.
Your swag.
All right.
Your swag right.
your swag right.
Wow, I miss this so very much. But as far as DeMar is concerned and the rest of the crew, this is, and I know, like you said, Kyle, that Timberwolves-Knicks deal did happen, October 2nd, you said.
Which is even later than I remember it happening.
I would be surprised, because there's been nothing else. If it ain't Kaminga, there's been no, now again, just because no one's talking about it doesn't mean it's not going to happen. Scott Perry said, I'm very happy with this group. My job is to always try to improve. He's got so much on his plate right now as far as the extensions with Keegan Murray, what they're going to end up doing with Keon Ellis. I just don't think, and the idea of them going in with a clean slate with Doug Christie at the helm. I saw at practice, Bobby Jackson, Mike Bibby was in the building. They're all just hanging out right now. It's just hard for me and he was at practice, Scott Perry. It's just hard for me to see them facilitating some type of deal before the season starts. I think everybody should, specifically myself, because I love to take something and run with it, I think everybody should just prepare for this to be the squad, and let's see how these first 20 games go. That's where I'm at with this, because it's a rough 20 games. But let's see where those first 20 games go. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
I mean, what is, we should look it up right now. How many games before December 15th? Because December 15th is when everyone's available to be traded.
Yeah.
So however many games before that is kind of the window of time we're working with right now.
And what it looks like, I think there is a level of hope in the building. You got Eurobasket MVP Dennis Schroeder. You have, obviously, another season from DeMar, a full season with Zach LaVine. So I do think that there is some belief in the building, but I think there's belief in every building. This is I mean, I don't know what about the Warriors, but even the Hornets, right? They got some young players. They won Summer League. All these teams have some level of belief. Once everything tips off, and like I said, those first 20 games, that's what I got my eye on, because it's a rough one. That's when we will know a lot more about this team. And to everybody out there that thinks this is a throwaway season, if it gets that, and I'm not, nobody should necessarily want this, but if it does get that bag that quickly, then I don't think it'll be a throwaway season. I don't see Scott Perry sitting on his hands if it does get bad. And the reason I reference those first 20 games is because they're so tough. We're going to learn about this team pretty quickly.
Yeah, there's levels to this too, because I didn't hear any players yesterday talk about playoff series.
Nah, man.
I saw the Hornets. I think it was Dinwiddie was like, I don't think we have a bottom third roster in the NBA, which is like, even your most optimistic is we're not one of the 10 worst teams in the league, which is crazy.
I mean, we bad, but we're not that bad.
I mean, we're bad, but like we can make the play-in.
Yeah. Brendan Nunes joins us on the other side, fresh from the first day of training camp. Get your questions in on the text line 916-339-1140, call line, text line, and Sack Chat. Don't move. More Allen Stiles coming up.
To keep your swag right.
When I was a kid, I remember my dad, a lineman, leaving in the middle of the night. Families were depending on him to get their power back on to keep them safe and warm. Watching him taught me that this work isn't just about wires and circuits. It's about people and the trust they place in us when the lights go out. That's why I started Maverick Electric Heating and Air, to carry on that same promise of showing up, doing it right, and protecting families when they need us most. Visit callamaverick.com.
When your name's on the paint job, your primer better hold up. Painters trust Kills primers for serious adhesion, stain blocking, and a finish that lasts. Now, the full Kills lineup is available exclusively at the Home Depot. Need it fast? Get same-day or next-day delivery, or order online and pick it up in-store. Kills primers. Pro results. Faster. The Home Depot. If you're a pro, you know.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Get
ready for 2 epic showdowns of Monster Truck Madness at the Stockton Dirt Track, Saturday, October 4th. Feel the roar, the power, and the ground-pounding action. 2 shows, 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. Do you have what it takes to survive the madness? Get your tickets now at StocktonDirtTrack.com.
Hi, Sacramento. It's the No Surprise guys at Bell Brothers. AC acting up? Call Bell Brothers. Need a new system? Get $2,500 off, 0% financing, and no payments for 12 months and approved credit. Just need a tune-up? Get an $87 AC maintenance with same-day appointments. We're on time, quote up front, and fix it right. No surprises. Call Bell Brothers or book at thenosurpriseguys.com.
Shop top brand tires at Big O with the lowest tire price guarantee. Now through October 19th, get up to $100 instant savings on 4 select in-stock Nitto, Nexen, or Toyo brand tires. Installation required, disposal fees extra, not good with other offers. See Big O dealer for details.
Hey, I'm Allen Stiles. Injured at work? Call downtown. DTLA Law Group, California's leading injury law firm. With over 40 lawyers throughout California, they have won over $500 million in settlements. DTLA Law Group will get you compensation for your work injury. You don't pay unless they win. That's right. You pay zero up front. Call downtown. Text injury help to 40222. That's injury help to 40222. Visit them at calldowntown.com. Text charges may apply.
When shopping for a new car, what do you want? A great selection? A low monthly payment? More for your trade? At Northern California's best Honda dealer, Stockton Honda, you get it all. Model year-end savings are going on now. Drive away in your favorite Honda. It's savings you just can't say no to. Come in today or go to StocktonHonda.com.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Based on the results of the study, recognized on June 18, 2025, USA Today's list of California's top car dealers 2025.
Allen Stiles. Watch the show on youtube.com/SacktownSports1140.
Or listen on the Sacktown Sports app.
The Cubs, we've got 2 sad Padres fans behind the glass right now. Whitey Gleason is hanging out with Kyle Ledbetter. The Cubs just took a 2-1 lead. It is in Chicago at Wrigley Field. It's far from over, bottom of the 5th. Yankees, Red Sox, that's going to start pretty soon here in a little over an hour.
I feel like people aren't hyping that up enough.
At all. And I think the problem is Red Sox don't have any brand names right now. They got really good young players, but this is where they become brand names. You go out there, you beat the Yankees, you go on a nice little run. They have some good players, right? But Roman Anthony?
Yeah.
Yeah. They got a couple
whose father is also Roman Anthony and brother is also Roman Anthony.
So this is where they make a name.
Yeah, I mean, they have maybe the Cy Young Award winner this year, but to your point, he played in Chicago for White Sox for 7 years. So
yeah.
I guess maybe this is kind of his first real showcase game, is going to be maybe beating the Yankees at Yankee Stadium.
And if you're wondering where Brendan Nunez is, well, so am I. Okay, so am I. I'm kidding. We were texting. Brendan is going to be in here in a second to talk about the first day of training camp.
What are we doing?
But Kyle, in the meantime, you're right. It is time to run. I'm back, baby. It's time to run that draft simulator. Dust it off.
Whitey did it for a couple days.
Thank you, Whitey.
I think Chris Watkins ran it one day too, but let's get the Tankathon out.
I got it going. Let's see. What a day to be back. What a day to be alive.
I need to see your laptop screen.
The Sacramento Kings jump up 5 spots to take the number 3 pick. That's what we need. All we need is a top 3 pick. All we need is a top 3 pick, okay? And the organization is moving in the right direction. It's that simple.
So we joked about this with Chris here, is that we have enough of a data pool now that we think you might be fudging the numbers a little bit on this thing.
Why?
Because naturally it should be like 25 to 30% of the time we end up in the top 4, and we're at like 45%.
Look, man. Look, when you're the chosen one, when it's your time, it is your time, okay? Speaking of, it is not Brendan's time to be here. He's stuck in construction. But
It's
we're gonna
always construction with this guy.
Yeah, he's the only guy. He's just on Highway 50 all the time. He's just on Highway 50 all the time. But speaking of not making it work, look, man, we talked a little bit about this with Henry Turner, but I tried to tell you, Kyle, that Lamar Jackson window was open 2 years ago. I was at the NFC Championship game, and Zay Flowers fumbled that football. That Ravens team, that was a year I believe they already had beat the Niners, and Brock threw 4 picks on Christmas, whatever it is. They would have beat the Niners again. Lamar would have got his Super Bowl. They missed their window. They missed their window, man. And now Lamar, the reason I'm bringing that up is because Ravens quarterback could be out for up to 2 to 3 weeks and is likely to miss Sunday's game against the visiting Houston Texans with a hamstring injury. They're 1-3. He could miss 2 to 3 weeks. This is a disaster in Baltimore.
The window, it's crazy because the window had closed and then it reopened and then it closed again, which last year I don't think they would have beat Kansas City, but they had a really good team last year. They just blew it in Buffalo when Mark Andrews dropped that pass.
Right, and I don't know if they even would have won that game if Mark Andrews, because that was to tie it, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it was to tie it. And now there are a bunch of photoshopped memes of James Harden in a Lamar Jackson jersey saying that Lamar is the James Harden of the NBA.
Yeah, that was crazy.
This is what happens with these running quarterbacks, man. And he had a window, but they could not capitalize. He had a window.
I mean, this is why I think that the Ravens window isn't closed, Lamar's isn't either, is that he had the best passer rating in the NFL.
He still has to run.
He does, but he is a great passer still. So I think his game can evolve.
And Derrick Henry, this one's on you, buddy.
Yeah.
Stop eating popcorn before the game. What a ridiculous way to go. Also, how do you have the yips? I've heard about different types of yips. Okay, I told you in college I had the catching yips. Okay, a ball popped out of my glove at University of Pennsylvania, and it just was never the same for me, right? I had the yips. I've heard of throwing yips. I've heard of catching yips. What do we do with fumble yips? What do we do with that?
It's just you're in your head. And
about holding on to the ball?
Well, I mean, protecting the ball.
Yeah.
You know, you're just leaving it out there for guys to punch it free. I don't know. I mean, I think the bigger problem for the Ravens, though, is the defense. Like, their offense had been awesome for most of the... I mean, they put up, 31 against Detroit and 40 against the Bills.
Yeah.
Like, their offense was fine, obviously, before Lamar got hurt, but that defense is just rough right now. And I don't know what happened. They still have All-Pro Metabuike, who's out for the year.
Marlon Humphrey's too busy doing podcasts, and I don't know what's going on. They have a lot of good brand names, but some of these brand names are starting to get older, it feels like.
Yeah, but, last year they were a great defense. That's why I'm so I get they don't have corners. They drafted, Wiggins, and that hasn't really worked out. But, I don't know how they go from where they were last year to they're allowing the most yards in the NFL. I don't understand that.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens there. Speaking of injuries, Ricky Pearsall is questionable with a PCL. Apparently, Brock Purdy's toe flared up again. And funny enough, going back to the Ravens thing, that whole conversation about Shedeur Sanders and whether or not I read something that the Browns might be looking to make a change, but the whole Shedeur Sanders conversation of him turning down the Eagles and turning down the Ravens, Shedeur Sanders more than likely would have been starting against the Texans. How crazy is that?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think even if they had took him, they probably would go Cooper Rush, right?
Oh, yeah.
Still got Cooper Rush hanging around.
He's on 4 different teams.
Yeah.
This dude is on 4 different teams. Well, we're happy that this guy's on our team. And we have...
Senor Segway strikes again.
I'm back, and it's hot. Don't laugh at me, Whitey. Brendan Nunes joins us fresh from day 1 of training camp. Brendan, thank you so much for joining us. Thanks for running over here, man.
No problem. No problem.
It's okay.
Never an easy easy drive. But
Were you
we
on?
made it.
You weren't on 50, not from.
No, I mean, I'm like directionally challenged.
Okay.
I will admit as well, and so I'm very much like I even put it in my phone to get over here just to make sure, because also like roads are closed.
Yeah, you got to go Waze. You're not
Dude,
going
that's what
Google
everybody
Maps.
tells me. But then you lock
You're
your
going Google
phone.
Maps?
Yes, but if I use Waze, right,
Yeah.
I lock my phone and I can't see the directions anymore.
You don't have it plugged. What do you mean?
You know, like when you lock your phone, right?
Okay,
You go to your home
it's not
screen.
plugged into your.
No, I don't have like a CarPlay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. See, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah,
struggle.
you think lower of me now?
No, I would never. Not out loud.
You're like, it couldn't have gotten lower.
Not out loud. All right. So in the time we do have, Brendan, let's start here. How much did they allow the media to see today for day one of training camp?
Yeah, typically, obviously, we're only seeing sort of the ends of these practices, and I would say the variance was that Mike Brown, a lot of times, you're seeing him shoot free throws at the end. I think we've still seen clips of him doing that in New York. Doug, the big thing for this team is they want to be the most well-conditioned team in the entire league.
He got him on some Coach Carter stuff.
That sounds like that's what's going to be the case out here. So they are running sprints, going back and forth. When we got in there, I guess like full court layup lines, but full on sprints, right? A rookie missed a layup, and he definitely made sure that everybody, he's on the vets of like, hey, somebody get your rook, essentially.
That's what Doug said?
A little bit.
Day one?
Yeah, I mean, he's setting the tone, right?
Okay.
And I don't think Rookie took it personally, right? It's, this is part of the process. This is your first day of training camp. So a lot of conditioning. Dennis Schroeder, we talked to today, that they're going to be back there at 5 o'clock today. They got 2-a-days.
Are they just working out, or are they just
We do not know the extent.
Okay.
Ask Doug a little bit, and he's being a little,
There's no way.
doesn't want to give you everything. It could just be walkthroughs.
Yeah.
But again, they want to be the best conditioned team in the league, so maybe it's more conditioning, and maybe they are getting these reps in.
See, man, okay.
Which is not atypical.
Look, I'm just saying, let's not blow it out too soon here.
I don't think you got to worry about that.
I'm just saying, man. You need to get to the season.
That is fair. I will say, like, Zach LaVine, right, obviously one of the main guys, he claimed himself today. He thinks he's one of the best conditioned guys in the league. He has no issues with this. I think you see how Domas plays into that.
Hold on a second. Can I just pause?
Yeah.
Weren't they getting on Mike Brown for practicing too much?
Yeah, I think so. But this is training camp. This is training camp. It's about like how much they're practicing during the season, right? And yeah, certain guys didn't seem to necessarily love that, but I also don't think that was actually like a tilting point in the Mike Brown thing. It was much deeper than that, you know, and it's when there's all this other stuff. It's like, also, we don't like how much we practice. I think that was kind of an afterthought sort of in all that stuff. But yeah, I do think training camp is a little bit of a different scenario. Obviously, this is a time where everybody's got to get into shape. Yeah. Ideally, guys are coming in already in shape. I would say Dennis is that way, Zach. But some guys do got to play their way into shape a little bit here. So
is that
I think that's what we're going to see.
You're not going to say names, but was somebody?
Some of them.
Someone had a piano on their back?
There was one or two that, hands on their knees after these drills. I'm a little tired.
And you know what? Real quick on the hands on your knees thing, I read, so if you played sport back in the day.
I was always told hands on your head, not on your knees.
That got debunked. Hands on your knees.
See, but I never thought it was like there was real science to it. I thought it was just a mental thing, like don't look weak.
No. It was supposed to be your air. Open up your lungs. But apparently that got debunked. Okay. And you can have your hands on your knees. It's the same thing.
Well, you look weak, Allen.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna be first.
Yeah, there you go.
Let me get me out on those liners, even with my bum Achilles.
After the taco eating contest, we going hands on the head or on the knees?
Not my dad. I'm trying to fight off the dad bod, and I'm losing. So losing battle. I got no sleep. I just out of control right now. Brendan, you want to hang with us for the last segment? Okay,
yes, sir.
Let's make Brendan's rush over here from Golden One worth it. Whitey Gleason's going to join us as well. Don't move. One more segment with you. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduce stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
The Sacktown Sports 49ers Report is brought to you by Kia of Vacaville, located beside the Vacaville outlets. Niners suffer their first loss of the season, 26-21 to Jacksonville. Brock Purdy returned after missing 2 games and threw for over 300 yards and a pair of touchdowns, but also had a couple of interceptions. Travis Etienne rushed for 124 yards and a TD for Jacksonville. Quick turnaround for SF as they travel to LA on Thursday for a big divisional matchup. Catch the game this Thursday beginning at 4 o'clock right here on Sacktown Sports 1140.
Football season is here at Kia of Vacaville. You can score big in a new 2025 Kia Niro LX with up to 53 MPG combined at Kia of Vacaville. Perfect for road trips, tailgates, and cruising to Levi Stadium in style and comfort. But don't wait. Inventory is limited at Kia of Vacaville, and these deals won't last long. Visit KiaVacaville.com or stop by right next to the Vacaville outlets for friendly service, easy shopping, and unbeatable value. All in one stop. Kia of Vacaville, where the adventure begins.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Hey, this is Greg Papa. Are you working through a major insurance claim? Sunpoint Public Adjusters can help. Sunpoint prepares, presents, and negotiates your claim with the insurance company, working only for you, making sure you get everything you're entitled to, not what just some adjuster working for an insurance company thinks you should get. Call Sunpoint today at 888-247-7865 or contact us at sunpoint.us. Sunpoint Public Adjusters, the gold standard in public adjusting.
License number 2N14884.
Hello, Sacramento. I'm Emran Pilati, owner of True Sports Cards and Collectible Store here in Rockland, California, and the host of the True Sports Cards Show that airs right here on Sacktown Sports 1140 every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m., where we discuss the latest trends, hottest products, and deliver exclusive interviews with other industry leaders. And don't forget to visit our shop, True Sports Cards, at 6661 Stanford Ranch Road in Rockland and see what we have for all your sports card and memorabilia needs.
Now's the time. Don't miss the Drive in the Fall event at Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram with 0% financing for 72 months on the new 2025 Ram 1500. The biggest selection, the best prices, and unmatched customer service. Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Financing and approved credit Ram 1389 for $10,000 borrowed.
Allen Stiles
You can join the show by texting 916-339-1140.
on Sacktown Sports.
The most well-conditioned host in Sacramento, Whitey Gleason joins us.
I thought that'd be Dave.
Yeah, so we're trying to get some confirmation as to whether or not, and somebody put on the text line, and I had no clue what they were talking about. Apparently, Dave tweeted that he got a hole-in-one at this.
It's definitely implied at
golf
Hagen.
Clubs and Guitars. I mean, of course it's going to be at Hagen. Dave's at Hagen about 3 times a week.
Yeah, he gave the hole 14, I think, in the course, but he didn't, and I think maybe the distance, but he didn't say the club. So it's definitely implied. But he could be
119 yard, number 14 at Hagen.
So for Dave, that's what, like a 4-iron?
If he did it, I feel like there would be more, right?
Yeah.
Hey, he's got a whole show tomorrow.
Yeah, but I'm talking about a picture with the ball.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He would have the the owner of Hagen there with him to shake his hand. I just think there'd be more. But, maybe he's... Maybe
might be in the works.
I'm just reading these comments here.
Did you know that in Japan they have insurance you can buy in case you get a hole-in-one? Because there's a whole thing. Here you're supposed to buy drinks for everybody, and there you're supposed to give, there's an elaborate process, gifts to the people you play with and your family and people that work for the club, all this stuff. So people take out insurance so they can pay for it if they get a hole-in-one.
But how many people are you supposed to buy the drinks for?
It's a lot, and I'll have to look it up, but it's a lot different there than it is here.
Not just your crew.
Right. It's everybody.
Yeah. I don't think I would need that insurance, but I mean, I guess you never know.
You could probably make sure you don't need it.
Yeah. Not today. You know what I mean? So, Brendan, any other notes? I was looking at everyone's posting the kind of post-training camp pressers and things like that, and I saw Zach LaVine say everybody was talking. It was a lot of communication, and I know you guys don't get in there towards the end, but anything else to note? I saw the quote about Doug Christie being the most well-conditioned. Anything else to note from your side?
Yeah, I mean, I think they were pretty lively. There's a lot of communication. Zach got asked sort of the vibes of the camp, and I thought it was hilarious. His answer of, it's day one. It can't really be bad.
Right.
Right. So I think the idea is that it's all up from here as long as you're trending in the right direction. There's a lot of optimism about Dennis. Honestly, it feels like they talk about this guy like he's some former all-star, and I think that Dennis is a great piece. They needed a point guard, but they are very excited about Dennis Schroeder, and I think Doug has been pretty clear that he was part of that process in identifying Dennis Schroeder. He mentioned it yesterday, echoed that again today. The other thing I would say that stood out, asked about Keegan a little bit. Someone asked Doug about it, and Zach got asked about it as well, and essentially he just needs to be a little bit more aggressive. Keegan mentioned that himself yesterday, but Doug wants him to get up 10 threes a game.
See,
this is where we get back to, 53s last year?
Yeah. The whole vibe yesterday to me was so chill, and it wasn't bad like no one cares. It's just that veteran sort of, we're just starting. There's really nothing going on yet. Relax, everybody.
Yeah, and that's a good point, Whitey. The word that I've been using, and I know you had a lot of good interviews. Now, you had some of the younger guys.
Right.
So I don't know how.
Because they relate to me.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. So
we talked to your guy.
My guy.
Maxine.
I know. I thought I was going to get him because he was walking around for a while, but I did not get him. But it's all good. So I don't know how open they were willing to be. But for the vets that I had and listening to Zach LaVine on the morning show, the word I keep using, Whitey, is, and Brendan, I know because you were there for the media scrums, felt like everyone was much more transparent. Transparency is the word that I've been using. Everybody's kind of open about where they're at, how crazy last season was, and how excited they are for this season, and just being realistic about it. Is that what you felt in the sound bites that you all heard, either through interviews or the scrums as well?
Yes, I really loved that comment you had right there. That was an awesome comment.
Padres scored.
Maybe a double comment.
Double play comment.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I would agree. I mean, I think definitely a lot of transparency, and I think I felt it most in DeMar's scrum. I know that you talked about it today as well, but he was pretty transparent, and I'm paraphrasing here, but kind of calling last season a crap show.
Yeah.
And just the mental aspect of him dealing with that. And, he's very self-reflective. Obviously, DeMar very open about his mental state throughout the course of his career, and he said maybe subconsciously I was wearing that more than I realized. And this year that he's excited for, he said, I'm overly excited for this season. I'm looking forward to every single thing this year. I think last year I didn't have that full feeling. And so I think that a lot of people share that. There was this cloud over the season last year, maybe not heading into training camp. Well, kind of, because Mike Brown, there was hesitation to extend him, but they let go of him 30 games into the season, and there's all the chaos that takes place in that way. So
there was multiple clouds, right? Seriously.
There were.
There was a cloud at the beginning of the year, then there were new clouds.
And another cloud comes in.
And it's supposed to rain tomorrow. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Plenty of clouds. But yeah, I think a little bit more, there seems to be some clarity that these guys have of what this year is supposed to look like. I wonder how that may be altered as the trade deadline approaches, or if this team does make moves like we kind of anticipating them potentially exploring.
They're really relying on Schroeder at both ends.
They're very much so. Setting the tone defensively, picking up 94 feet, and Dennis is like, hey, I've done that my whole career, but you're also wanting to play with crazy pace on offense. And how much can you give that effort for, 35 minutes a night? Like, Dennis is the point guard on this team.
Yeah. I think it's a good point because as far as what the Kings are trying to do, and to your point, Whitey, of how open everybody seems to be, I think that what I gathered yesterday is that they're taking, and this kind of goes to the DeMar DeRozan piece and why, hey, we thought DeMar was out the window, out the door immediately. They kind of, to bring up golf again, they kind of used last season as a mulligan, right? I don't think that they feel like they put their best foot forward. And who knows, maybe there were certain conversations with even the owner, right? And ownership of, hey, we kind of hijacked that season, kind of got hijacked a bit. And maybe DeMar felt, well, now I got Zach LaVine full season. Now we got a point guard in Dennis Schroeder, which I asked DeMar about as well. Let's see what happens here. And that's why I keep talking about these first 20 games because of how tough they're going to be. Let's see what happens here. And then to your point, if it does end up not working out, all right, cool. Let's see what else is out there. But I don't think they feel like they got a full go at it because the rug got pulled from over them so quickly.
Right. So it's like, well, what do we really have here?
Yeah.
I really appreciated, I was standing there when you were talking to DeMar, and I believe you asked him something along the lines of, hey, look, we look at player rankings all the time. We have to talk about that. I don't know if you guys do, but do you feel like maybe you're being underestimated with some of these rankings? And he kind of just went, yeah, I'm not really that worried about it, right? It was a good answer. I just appreciated it. It's kind of in keeping with the whole, you know what, we're really not worried about that stuff.
Yeah, we're not.
Funnily enough, in the scrum, though, he got asked, like, hey, this team seems to be, not rated greatly as a team. And he said that is super motivating for him in the scrum, actually. So maybe it's more of the team thing rather than individual, because other players got asked that, like, and Dennis, has crazy perspective with his whole life story of, like, that's not pressure. I dealt with pressure as a child,
Yeah.
But DeMar was very much like, heck yeah, that's motivating.
Yeah.
Huh. Because he didn't really go there when you asked him.
And this is what I said earlier in the show, and I said it to Jason Ross too. I was getting everyone, and I think you were too, right after their scrums. And I think DeMar had just kind of emptied the chamber in the scrum.
At one point in the scrum, he's like, all right, I've cussed enough for today.
Yeah, so then
like, I'm going to chill out.
He kind of dialed it back a little bit, which is cool because we still, as long as you're open with somebody and we get that information, which is exactly what we wanted to get. Did either of you leave? And I was getting roasted. I got called a KHTK homer, which I'm just happy to be back and talking to my beloved text line.
The H in KHTK stands for Homer.
That's right.
HTK, home of the Kings.
Home of the Kings.
Yeah.
Either of you feel any more hopeful about this season after media day? Because I was drinking some purple Kool-Aid yesterday. I can't even lie. Now, I'm drinking purple Kool-Aid to be over 34 and a half. I'm not drinking purple Kool-Aid to the tune of 45 wins. But you feel any differently about the team just based on how they're going into it?
I think I am also drinking a little bit of purple Kool-Aid, but attempting to temper that because, again, this is media day, and this is what this is, I guess, supposed to feel like. But I think Chris Watkins had a great perspective of, like, Malik, I thought was really transparent with you. You had a great interview with him. Malik could have came into this and been pretty upset about the way the offseason went, and that's not the way he approached this, and I think that other guys could have had that same thing, but they seem to feel and be expressing that there's almost a weight off their shoulders after last season. So I would say the way that Malik and DeMar specifically expressed how they're feeling and their excitement for heading into this season to sort of reset everything from last year, I'm buying it a little bit. And I do think that if you're part of that team, it's easy to look around and be like, hey, that's DeMar DeRozan, that's Zach LaVine, Domantas Sabonis, Sixth Man of the Year, Malik Monk, candidate Sixth Man of the Year. Dennis, like, it's easy for them, I would say, to find some internal belief and look around and be like, man, we're kind of nice.
That's what I'm saying. And that's what we talked to Drew Eubanks about as far as, hey, was that a part of your decision to go to Sacramento? Whitey, any more hope?
Yeah, I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid, but I do have the lozenges.
There you go.
Yeah,
that's a good
yesterday,
one.
seeing the vibe and feeling it. Doesn't matter till they play. Doesn't mean anything. But it was, I just felt like, okay, they're, whatever it is, they got it.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. More than 34 and a half.
Belief matters.
I don't know what's going on after that, but 34 and a half. And Mike Bibby's in the building. They're all just chumping it up in the building. I mean, come on, man. It's some good vibes there. Look, if they do end up stinking, we can handle that when that happens. But they're undefeated right now.
They are.
They are undefeated right now. The Pacific Division is theirs. Thank you to Coach Eric Martins. It was a great season having him on the show every Tuesday. Thank you to all the callers, texters, Sack chatters. Thank you to Brandon Nunez for stopping by. Thank you to Kyle Ledbetter. Great to be back in studio with you. The Drive Guys coming up next. Whitey Gleason, Kyle Draper, Jay Johnson. Until tomorrow, secure the bag like the beam. Like the beam.
To keep your swag right. Don't forget my podcast. Gotta go.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturer.